I'm here, everybody. If you want to come up, just grab the link. Hey, BB. Thanks for coming back, bro.
What's up, man? Did you get it all fixed out?
I'm not sure what was going on. If it was StreamYard, it kicked me out like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, we could hear you perfectly clear.
That's weird. I couldn't hear you guys at all. All I heard was R2D2.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
it
weird.
was. Well, I had heard earlier today that StreamYard was having some serious issues, and I was hoping it wouldn't catch me, but apparently it did. It was either that or my battery was under 30% on my phone, so could have been a combination of both. I don't know,
Right.
but I
And
let
they
it
said
charge up. Go ahead.
yeah, they said they were going to come back because they were discussing a topic,
Oh, okay.
and Dreamweaver was like, "Let's get off here so we can shut it down, and we'll come back."
Yeah,
he
there's
is.
Dreamweaver. There's Dreamweaver
Yeah.
now.
You
Take
say
your time,
up in just a
Dreamweaver.
minute. Um. So yeah.
Yeah, I can
Shane.
actually, I can even hear you better now,
Really?
better than I could earlier.
Huh. Yeah, because I'm
Yes,
on a headset. I'm on a headset here on my laptop. So
Yeah, you come through. You're coming through a lot cleaner than you were earlier.
oh wow.
So I don't know. It's weird.
Miss Shane said he was going to come back. So
Yeah, he wanted to have a conversation with me. I guess privately regarding the other night. But
yeah, I my with my age, I'm 48. I just kind of like I've just stayed silent.
Yep.
There's things I wanted to say, but it's like now I see, and I discussed this with Travis, and he agreed that whatever needed to be done should have been done in private, and not over open air like that. But
my feelings about it,
well, it
along
was
with
planned. Yeah.
a lot of it, I feel like it was too.
Oh yeah.
She was on a duck hunt.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it came across to a lot of us. There's
Yeah.
Shane. Hey, Shane.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for
Shane.
coming back, brother. I wasn't trying to blow you off or ignore you or anything, man. I was having some serious issues either with StreamYard or because my battery was under 30%. And
Hey, I'm not going to lie. I did think
out.
for a second. I did think for a second that you were going to. Sorry, I'll save that for another day anyway.
No, I mean we can have that conversation anytime you want, man. I did read your comment that you left on my video.
Yeah, can I just I'll just close the door quickly.
Sure.
Hang on, bud. We're going to go in 3 minutes. I've just got to address something. Yeah.
Let me here, so you're not just talking to my avatar.
That's all right. I don't mind.
Oh no, it's better if we can see each other, man. You know,
you're
it's
more
a serious topic.
You're more handsome than your avatar.
Oh, thank you very much. You're not so bad looking yourself, brother.
Yeah, as long as I don't smile. Hey,
so go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
No. what were you just talking about with the just prior to me coming in?
Oh, we were talking about the other night, and
Oh yeah.
my opinion, as well as a lot of others that I've spoken with about it, including Ken Carson,
I'm not going to
was
talk about
that
Ken. I'm not Ken didn't really bother me too much, but one thing I just want to say is that hang on. Oh geez, the phone was ringing someone. Yeah, so one thing that I did want to address is that, and I get it. It was pretty heated conversation.
yeah,
Just that Charlotte was trying to make a comment. Obviously, she had a couple of things that she needed to get off her chest with Travis, which she probably should have done in a private. But, you know, it is an open format show, and you can't really kind of steer where them shows go at times, can you?
no, mine's the same way.
Yeah, and like I wrote in your comment, like I like you, Charlie. I think you're great, but I did find it disrespectful to Char.
And you're right about that.
And I find it disrespectful to Travis, you know, but it's water under the bridge. You know what I mean?
Well, but is it? Because from what I'm seeing all over the place, it's still being talked about.
Well,
Welcome back, Dreamweaver. Well, but is it? Because from what I'm seeing all over the place, it's still being talked about. Yep.
Well,
welcome back, Dreamweaver. Well, but is it? Because from what I'm seeing
getting feedback
all over the place, it's still being talked about. Yep. Well, welcome back, Dreamweaver. Well, but is it? Because from what I'm getting feedback all over the place, it's still being talked about. I think we're good now. No problem. No problem. It happens all the time to me too. So,
You just muted yourself. Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got these radio check-ins every 20 minutes after 1 a.m. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, and you guys don't need to hear the radio.
But yeah, Shane.
But I was gonna say you're absolutely right about what you just said. I did go back and watch the video again the next morning, and I still see what happened as like I said to BB a few minutes ago. I felt that she was on a duck hunt. And I've seen her do this in other channels, and to have her come in and say that she had something to talk to Travis about and wanted to clear the air with Travis, and then she turned her attention to Liberty, and then she had turned her attention to some other people, and that's what pissed all of us off. It wasn't that she needed to talk to Travis. She turned away from that and she went after a bunch of other people. And the way that she did it was very aggressive.
Were you in Travis's channel probably going back maybe just over a week ago?
What was that?
Were you in Travis's channel just about a week ago when Liberty got fired up?
No. I wasn't there that night.
Because Liberty got fired up because of some of the things that he heard in CBC's chat. Okay.
Right. That I knew about that.
And that's fair enough. So he kind of said some things on Travis's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so he said some things on Travis's channel, and then so you'll have to probably go back and watch that.
I heard him talk about it on Liberty Warrior the next day.
Okay, I didn't watch that, to be honest.
Yeah, him and Shane talked about it a little bit the next day. They didn't go into a lot of detail, but they did talk about it. And she jumps in over on Liberty's channel pretty much every day. We see her in the chat all the time.
Yeah.
And her and a few others that come from the other channel, they're constantly trying to get people fired up in the chat. It's
I'm not
all the time.
I'm not too sure about. See, I can't speak for them, and I can't even speak for Char, to be honest. I can't speak for any of them, but yeah,
Yeah. It was a bad night, brother. A lot of people got hurt, and a lot of people are still really upset about it. Me, honestly, we can let it go and not talk about it ever again, as far as I'm concerned. It's done. It's over with. I feel bad about it.
No,
I'm
I just
not gonna
think we're
say that
better
I
off
don't.
just addressing it. You just address it, and then we resolve it, and then we move on. And that's what we're doing now. So,
Yeah.
But I think I can't comment for what people have done in the past, but yeah, judging from the other night, like I wrote in the post, I just found it rude the way that you acted to Char and Travis. Yeah.
And you know what? I don't disagree with you, and I don't disagree with what Weaver had to say to me the other night either.
Oh, Weaver was excellent. To be honest, he brought it back down to reality.
Weaver was excellent, and he made me go back and check myself.
And it's good to do that.
I appreciate him for doing that.
Yeah.
I'm enough of a man. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong for going into Travis's channel and for going off on Travis the way that I did. I wasn't trying to gaslight him, Weaver. I honestly wasn't. But as I said, even on my live after that, when I get angry, and I'm sure you understand this, when I get angry, I don't care what comes out of my mouth or how it sounds.
Who does?
And that's something that I have to work on personally.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do that, and I appreciate you guys for putting that shit back in my face.
Well, I guess what I meant by gaslighting was
somebody trying to talk, because it's kind of jumbled.
Was just it was the, like, because there's different types of gaslight, and the gaslight is Travis's volume does have an issue, like where you can't hardly hear him, with a lot of things. And the gaslight that I mean is it was repetitive for an answer that had been given, but emotions were high. I do get that. And, that's what I meant by gaslight, because there's different type of gaslights. But as with Char, I can't. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm a friend's wife, because I don't know. I know what I know of people from my interaction. She's pretty wholehearted person, stands strong in her belief, and ain't scared of shit. And what she came in to do, I do agree, could have been done in a private setting, and I believe that that's what got it out of hand. And what her, on her defense, I guess got her so fired up she felt backed in a corner as a female.
I wish you guys could hear what you sound like right now.
Say what?
It will come out good on the finished product. I checked the stream beforehand. It sounded good.
Yeah. But she had felt cornered, and as a female, by the intensity of the male, and the chat was kind of, jumping on it. And that was my whole thing. Hey, either we got a platform, we got a platform with the First Amendment, we can voice our opinions, And if we're gonna stifle one, then we're gonna stifle everybody else.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
she had personal beef. She had personal
I could not.
beef. Go ahead.
I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be on a stream, you know, especially as a female, and to have, you know, Shane and Liberty not gang up on her, but, you know, they were.
There
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
was 5-1 at least.
Yeah, it was at one point. And I did feel that she did make a really good point.
Yeah. In
She had
her
a lot of
position,
good things to say.
in her position is a lot like what I speak of. Is it's the endangerment to the conservative base of a lot of what we call grifters pushing narratives
Yep.
that we can't use as arsenal. We can't prove in a court of law. We can't use.
It's doing the same thing again, guys. You guys sound like R2D2.
Wheeler Ridge is code 4.
Well,
He mustn't have good Wi-Fi.
yeah, because we can hear everybody else seemingly.
Yeah.
You'll have to change your Wi-Fi provider, California Patriot.
Or, are you using Chrome? Yeah, they probably can't hear me. But no, Char came with a personal beef that was directed at Travis. Things were said, she felt ganged up on, and she was addressing a lot of the chat, and she was emotionally charged, and things just kind of they did get out of hand.
Yeah.
Well, she had Rusky attacking her in the chat.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been very fair.
No.
He was saying some pretty mean things.
Yes, he was, and he's done some pretty outlandish things. And
if he's guilty of them things, it's pretty uncalled for, I think.
no, he is 110%. He is absolutely guilty of them, and it's terrible. It's terrible. And but yes, she made a lot of great points. It was emotionally discharged. Travis is a more passive guy, and his volume.
Open. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But he's a pretty passive guy. His volume now has a little issues because you can't really hear him versus everybody else. So that does play a big issue with like his being able to voice. But I do, agree with Char with grifters, and I do agree with everybody's emotional reaction to a lot of things. But for the chat to turn on the channel owner and for someone that he has a long history with to speak, no matter how long it is, while she's being attacked, is really not anybody's business, and we all lose subscribers. We all lose people. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, that's why I got out of when I was up there on the panel. I just got out because I just felt like it's not my place to be up there. I stayed out of chat. I stayed silent through the whole thing because I was thinking, okay, if whatever's got to be worked out, it's got to be worked out.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is just stay silent.
It is. And, there's a lot to dissect from it, but everybody, in my opinion, has a right to be emotionally discharged, even Charlie.
Yes.
Had an absolute right to be emotionally detached with what was going on because a lot of narratives were being attacked and not everybody's belief system is correct. And Char made good points, but attacked other people's other points. And that's what kind of united people, but it happens all the time. And she just felt kind of backed in a corner, and she's just that type of lady. She's a fighter.
I think it needed to be said.
A lot of it did.
Yeah.
A lot of it did. And because it is a real issue. It is a real issue. But Charlie wasn't wrong in a sense of, being upset. I just didn't want him to get too upset. And you don't want to ruin relationships over emotional polarization, because he had the right to be upset.
Oh, of course.
And but Char did make a great amount of points, and she is a very well versed in her description, but it was handled all across the board. Needed to be in a private conversation.
Yeah,
I think some of it did, but you've got to
Yeah.
remember that Travis's show is a 6.5 hour show. It went for 6.5 hours. There was an hour and a half of talk prior to Char coming in. Then Char talked for about, I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then Charlie went on for an hour and 10 minutes or something. I think it was 50 minutes, sorry. He went on for 50 minutes about going on to Travis, to Shane, to Char, and then you came on and you said, hey, hang on, this is what's happening, and you brought some sanity back.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing is the chat doesn't control the person running the show, because that is a type of tyranny. And it's a type of tyranny to destruct people's First Amendment right we have in the States. I don't care how it is. And she made a lot of great points. She had a right to talk about it. Travis allowed her to talk about it.
Yep.
And that's where it should have stopped. And people can voice their opinions, but it stops at 10 minutes. You can say what you got to say at 10 minutes. We don't have to keep going over and over and over and over, because then it begets threatening. Then it begets browbeating. Then the type of person Travis is, he takes it to heart. He feels as though he's done wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong. He allowed people to speak their minds, and that's what needs to be done. And she had something on her heart, and hey, somebody wants to talk about, me and my following or whatever the case may be. We got issues. And she made a lot of great points. She's a very smart lady. Things needed to be said publicly. Some of the beef needed to be handled privately. Say like Travis. I mean, that was a long beef that nobody really knew much about. But the stuff that had been made public needed to be addressed public.
Yeah, I think so.
And so I don't disagree with any of it. I just believe there's a time limit to anger.
It definitely did rattle me, though, because I couldn't go into Travis's chat the next day. I couldn't go. I went into CBC's chat. I couldn't go into Travis's chat. I just couldn't comment that whole day yesterday. I mean, I came on yesterday for a split second, but I was really uncomfortable. So I'm glad that I brought it up with you, Charlie, and I hope that you can rewatch what we've just talked about. And
I'm going to definitely. I'm sorry, guys. I had to end up rebooting my phone.
You're a great guy, and we've got some really great people in this movement, and I think we've got to stay focused on what's important, and that's bringing everyone together and
it's going to happen.
Everyone informed.
And it's going to happen.
I agree. There's one thing that I have an issue with is how, and I'm not going to say any names, but how some channels, all they do is tear other people apart. That's all their content is tearing other people apart. And it irritates the hell out of me.
It does infringe. It does infringe because, you have the right to be an asshole and you have the right to be stupid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it without consequence.
Everything has consequence. Whether good or bad, it all has consequence.
Absolutely. And, I just, there's some fine lines to walk. Pick and choose your battles wisely. And that's all you can really do. And I believe there were so many sections of it that could be handled privately, publicly. There was great information in it. I don't think anybody was wrong for their emotional response. We just had to bring some woosah to the situation.
Which you did. You
And,
did. You calmed me down.
I get nervous too, because then I start talking about ancient mystery schools and Christ and everything else, because that's things I'm interested in. But I'm not a public guy, and I get a little bit weirded out with silence. I like being asked questions, and so I just try to fill the gap. I try to fill
change the topic quick. You ended it, and it changed topic quick, and that's what needs to be done.
It was. It was. And and because we're facing a lot of different things that have foundations that we can consider conspiracy. Well, the foundations might not consider or not be what everybody needs to know, but they are foundations that would awaken a lot of people to the narratives of what their judgmental side gives. Because here's my thing. If you want to follow Christ, will you do what Christ says? Will you drop your channel? Will you drop 99% of the things you do? And when you walk in the pure belief of God, and that's what the great thing of his sacrifice was, you didn't have to do that because he knew you couldn't do that.
Right.
And so until somebody can do that and drop everything they got and follow what they preach, then we all fall short from the glory of God, and the judgmental part of it doesn't help at all because none of us follow to the T of what Christ said.
You're right about that.
Right.
Thank God for his sacrifice because he knew we were fools and we were human, but he gave us the power to stand in righteous heart and physical arms and protect what is right, and that's the children.
Yep.
Right.
Ultimately, they're the only thing that matters is the
It
children.
is the only thing that matters.
Can I just add quickly? I've seen Dreamweaver before in other chats. I've never met him before. Well, I met him briefly the other day in Travis's channel, but I'm bloody impressed.
I appreciate it.
I am.
You're not the only one, Shane.
You need to start. You need to start a channel and
I just have a problem structuring it, because I just get on so many rants, and I will structure it, and I will create a channel, and I will go off of everything that my mind has accumulated that I only voice to very few people. And we'll see where it goes.
Well, you got to make a promise. You know what the promise is?
What's that?
You've got to keep us informed and tell us what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man,
Yeah.
I could see a lot of people following your channel. I could, because you're just
very
a ball
knowledgeable.
full of information.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I've been down every rabbit hole you can think of. I follow the left, the right, the in between, the mystics, the yogis, every part of the Christian religion, the
Can we
Catholicism.
ask you a bit about that?
Huh?
Where did your journey start?
Mine start with, honestly, firefights and mortars. That's where it started. In 2010, it started, and it was just a spiritual guided area. I mean, it just happened. It just happened. And it started. And well, honestly, it started too with my mother. She was shot 4 times, or B5.
Oh, wow.
And 4 times in the head, once in the left hand. And she was able to slow down, and she crossed over, and she learned things, and she brought them back, and she taught me as a child to have critical thinking, and things were not what they seem, and to always take it with me. And so it started with her, it started with combat, and then it started what I learned with combat and the bureaucratic sphere.
Were your parents in the military?
No, my mother,
Okay.
and no. I have some family that were in the military, but no, my father committed suicide. He shot my mother 4 times in the head and once in the left hand. He died.
man.
He survived.
What age were you when this happened?
I was like 4 or 5.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Sorry to hear that.
My wife, well, not my wife, we weren't married, but we were together 11 years. She passed away from blood poisoning, probably in December 7th, 2019.
Bless your heart, brother.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Bless her. Yeah.
she her brother. So we've got a race down here. It's called the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
It's a famous race. So her brother won that. He won the Melbourne Cup the year before. So we watched the Melbourne Cup the month beforehand. We had a really good time. She became sick. December 7th came and she passed away from blood poisoning. And my son, he's 7 years. Well, he was 7 years of age at the time. He's now 9. But yeah, he had a similar thing to what you happened. He lost his mother at that age.
Yeah.
So did your mother pass away, or was she still alive?
No, yeah, she's very much still alive. She's got a shaky left hand. Her balance is a little bit off, but the bullets traveled through the top of her skull, and they had to cut out small parts of the back part of her brain, and she still got bullet fragments like in her nasal cavity and stuff like that had shifted. But other than her walking, you wouldn't know she'd been shot.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what started my spiritual, path, was just, there's a reason.
It was something with God,
Absolutely.
That
I'm
has
I'm gonna tell you, it was a weird story. She said when she was on the operating table that there were these people, and they were very tall, they were very beautiful, and they told her that she would make it, that she was all right, and if they needed something, they were able to just kind of, get it to her, like get the equipment without actually having to go get it. And so the people that she met, we consider angels or whatever the case may be, but she had physical beings with her operating on her that were not of this world, and told her that she had a purpose to teach someone that could help teach. And they always thought I was going to be a preacher, I don't know. But, so that was the weird thing, is that she met people that were what we call angels or whoever, extended beings, that told her she was going to make it, things were okay, and this was all for a reason. And that's the story she brought back.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. That really is. It's amazing.
It is. And it's very powerful in the sense of, I who knows what all our purpose is other than to be the extension of the Creator, to experience life and evolution of life, for the experience to go back to the Creator. But we are an extension of that, because the spiritual world is automatic, and the only way the reality, which is the part of evolution, and the only way that evolution and people can be conscious, or the spiritual world can be conscious, is if it has a conscious vessels to be in. So we are the extension of the Creator, so the Creator can experience its creation by itself through many different experiences.
I've always asked that question. Why am I here? It's something I ask probably at least 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
bro.
always constantly asking that question, and I always get a different answer.
Yeah. Well, my purpose, or my understanding what purpose is to experience whatever experience might be, because nothing is coincidence. And every small thing, every small thing has a massive reaction to other people's lives. Like your life might be attached to 10,000 others, and because you are awakened to a spiritual truth through natural law without action will naturally awaken people. Look what happened with Trump. A few people wake up and then it's like a snowball. So in the what is it? In the Asian, what is his name? Confucius. Sometimes action without reaction is the most action. And that's where that comes from. Is because Christ said something like it. Whosoever shall shave one person shall be the greatest amongst the kingdom of heaven. Was he talking about you? Because if we all awaken ourselves, then what are the ripple effects of that? And those ripple effects could be through natural law, other people's awakened by your experience, because it matters. And
Yeah,
so,
you never know whose life you're going to touch along the way.
yes. And I love this saying. There was people, there was a flood, and they were stranded. A boat came. They said, no, we're waiting on the sign of God. God will save us. A second boat came. Told them the same thing. A helicopter came. Told them the same thing. Well, they died. They were presented before the Lord, and the Lord asked them why they were there. And they said, well, Lord, we were expecting signs from you because we knew you would save us. He said, well, I sent 2 boats and a helicopter. So, where we think God may act, we cannot be naive to know that God doesn't act through people. We are the extension of that creator.
Absolutely.
So
Amen.
you never know. You never know with someone on the side of the road who might need $1. And I know it speaks of that, in the Bible, that that small act of kindness, because the biggest gift you can give is giving, because tithing does not exist. That is a mega church part of whatever type of pyramid scheme, like building man within yourself and tithing and building up that 10% of storehouse. That is the spirit. That is the kingdom within. You are building yourself to project yourself amongst others, because you cannot heal anyone if you have not healed the self within. And Christ said, hey, for the kingdom of heaven is within. So if the kingdom of heaven is within, then we must, in order to build the kingdom on earth, we must build that kingdom within. And who's to say what these lockdowns for? Because I can tell you one thing that happened with a lot of these lockdowns, whether they be good or bad from whatever side, people became to self-realization. They went within.
Yep.
And that's
a lot
where
of people turn to God.
Yes, that's where you find the presence of God. And that's what Christ taught, was how to become present.
That's what I just wrote a post about. I haven't been more faithful in my life until the last 18 months. It's just brought me more and closer to God than ever before.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and as in the religion, and I've said it before, that was the vision of Paul. This was a Roman who persecuted Catholics, who 80 years, 60 years later after Christ had a spiritual awakening. And maybe that's because he developed guilt, whatever the case may be. But he started basically the ongoing of the church. But the disciples carried the perception. And I don't know too many churches they built, because Christ said that my church shall not be built in, wood and stone, mortar, or anything like that. Where two or more are gathered, and my name is a good thing. It's about the fellowship. And it's nothing against the church, because the community, it's about the intent. It's about how God talked about curse words. It was called raka, like you fool. It was the intent. The intent creates the sound doctrine, the energy. It creates the energy that flows from one another to awaken one another.
You're hitting the nail on the head.
Man.
You really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I was thinking about,
Maybe you are missing your calling, Weaver. Maybe you are supposed to be a preacher.
my family just will not drop it.
Well, maybe with good reason. Maybe you
God
should
might
take
be
the
working
advice
through
of,
them, and my humanity is resisting it, because I'm such a private person. But you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where you find the presence of God.
but
I heard that the other
even,
day, and that resonated so much.
even
gotta
though
be
you're a private person, you speak very well. You're able to
Yes.
get that message across in the easiest of ways.
And it's very clear.
Yeah.
It's very clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And when
I've learned more in 2 nights listening to you than I have in 6 months listening to other freaking.
I told people before that, they create a complex system, but maybe there's a simple answer. And then that simple answer might have a complex narrative,
Yep.
And we live in the nature of reality as duality. And that duality is needed because that's the world that we in. Up is down, left is right. And what's above, if you throw something up, it's going to fall down, because 99% of facts are someone else's opinion that constantly change, but 1% is natural law.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that doesn't change. And the universal and natural law is what guides our perception. And that perception is important because it's your experience. That Bible is a book of you. It is a book of how.
sorry, I've just got to go.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be back very shortly. I won't be long. I'll be about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry to
Well,
interrupt.
we should still be here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely coming back.
You're
All
good.
right, Shane. Yep.
See
Just be
yous.
careful, brother.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We'll see you soon.
Perfect.
But yeah, these teachings, because I saw on one of the chats, when I was talking about where Christ went from 12 to 30, and they said, oh, hey, he went to India to love the animals. Well, let's break that down. What do the yogis practice? They practice the love of nature. He went to Tibet, he went to Nepal, and he learned these spiritual laws of one and their discrepancies. And he was the one that came and understood that it would take a martyr, a sacrifice of the purest form. And he was the only one that could unleash the universal power that we were entitled to, that people were missing, because Christ carried no doctrine, carried none. He learned the law with the Melchizedeks. He learned the law with the yogis. He brought that back, but he carried no doctrine. And he told the Pharisees that use your law, and through your law, you shall find yourself condemned. because it was of a self-righteous nature. Because when you have judged someone to the point that you have left out your personal judgment, then you have cursed yourself, because you have created a universal narrative for you to experience the same projection that you have given. And Christ taught that. And there's a lot of things, like I know Old Testament, New Testament, but Old Testament taught of God, and it taught of the coming one. Christ created the new covenant that told us who we were. And that's why I talk about, and I don't mean to beat the Catholic Church, but nowhere did Christ, this was a vision of Paul, say, fall to the altar of my beaten corpse upon a cross, because the first commandments, you shall have no other father, you shall have no other gods before me, nor graven in stone, wood, whatever the case may be. So if Christ never claimed to be God or Lord, then we are breaking who he got his information from. We are to respect Christ as a brother, because he told the people, you shall do anything more than I can do by faith alone. And they had to teach them. He was trying to teach these people this, how powerful faith is, because it uses that universal intent in which we have. And it's very powerful. That's why the elites want your mind consumed. Because if you ever got to be still and know God with the protection of Christ and his sacrifice, you are a formidable spiritual force. And you can alter the forms of reality. Thomas spoke about it. That, of course, was taken out by King James. And Enoch touched on some of these things, but there's a lot of things in these books and in the Gnostic texts that talked about what Jesus learned and the power there within. And it talked about the Godhead. And to say, like the Luciferians, oh, we are God, reincarnated, that is not the case. We are the extension of the Creator, because if you are creating a universe, how can you experience that without having infinite sources of experience for the evolution of that in which you created? You must have the conscious human. And that is one of our main purposes. No matter how big, how small, we must gain our experience. Because have you ever noticed you have times of lulls, you have times of prosperity. These are experiences that are meant to be felt emotionally, because that's where the power is. The power is in the emotional intent projected upon the world. That's what changes the reality. And that's where it ties back into the 7 Hermetic principles. And these are powerful things. And that's why Christ taught them. And he spoke in parables because, like he said, they'd stone him if he didn't speak these ways. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, with these, say, disciples, because a lot of their books were talked about, it was inspired by the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to say, what's the difference when you know the knowledge between you and a disciple or Paul? Nothing. You have gained the perception of the truth, the light, and the way. You are a brother in Christ. You are of the same bloodline that you are the Israelite. And we, through that understanding, become the brother in Christ, and we are subservient to God. And he never told it any other way. And that is what I wish would be understood. Instead of worshiping the man, give him thanks for his sacrifice like we would for any soldier, and a man that conquered all religions and conquered death itself and brought forth our salvation. But it does not neglect God, because he said, for if you have seen me, then you have seen the Father. But if I have seen you, or you, I have seen the Father. Because he said, for God is not flesh and bone as I, he is spirit. So if God is spirit, the Catholics say the Holy Trinity. There's no such thing. How can there be a triple separation between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? God is the Holy Spirit, and the Son is us. There's only that duality. There's only that connection. That is a mockery. Because, one, they got the beaten and battered Jesus that you fall upon. You have the creation of the original CIA. Let me come in and confess my wrongdoings as if there as it would be any. They make documents of it, and now the church has information. They were the first CIA, and
You have made some really good points, because I grew up. I did. Let's see. My mom joined the Pentecostal church when I was 9 years old. And I know you probably heard of Pentecostals, and I was in it till about 15 years old.
Yeah, my grandmother's one. Yeah,
and I've heard a lot of sermons, and I've never heard the way you said it, the way you talked about like kneeling before the cross and all that with Jesus hooked up there. I've never heard about like that, like you said, not bow down before any other idols.
Yeah.
I've never heard it that way. I never thought it that way. I always thought that was always,
Well, think about what the cross is. It's a representation and quite frankly, a mockery of what they did to a spiritual leader.
Right.
And then you had Paul, where they used to hang Christians upside down and light the streets of Rome with Christians. And now this man's going to create a Catholic church where you must confess, give ritual, and you don't supposed to believe that it has paganistic roots.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. The only sense that it makes is that it has created an infrastructure that was meant for control. Because nowhere did Christ, did the disciples, they went and they spoke to kings or whatever that might be, but they did not establish a church. They established a gathering, a fellowship. Mm-hmm. And you can have a building that you meet at. Hey, we got to modernize. But when you learn the truth, the light, and the way, such as Christ spoke, why are you still coming? That's ritual.
Right.
And Christ taught us how to pray. To not pray amongst the pagans, do not show them that you are fasting, and to go into a dark place or a private place and have a conversation with the Father.
Right.
So where does that come to public, prayer? So what, we can be seen, so we can be righteous, so we can be judgmental over others? It's contradictory.
Right. And that's what I felt like that church was leading. That's why I got out when I was 15. I moved away from there. And I felt like it was like, back then it was more like who had the most money or who had the best clothes.
Yeah.
And they had their little cliques. And it didn't seem like church. It didn't feel like
a business.
Yeah.
I mean, why? And I know Christ spoke about it. I mean, what do you call the popes and the bishops? You call them father. That's a mockery.
Right.
He spoke against the mediators between them and God. You were to be taught the information and know that you have a straight connection to the Almighty, the Alpha and the Omega. And that's where it should lay.
See, and before that, I was Catholic. While I was age 9, I was Catholic, and I never did understand the whole Catholic thing because it seemed like you go on a certain day to do your to ask for forgiveness for your sins, and you go to confession, but the rest of the week you can do whatever you want because on Sunday you can go do confessional, and it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, because if you are following that way,
you should be doing it every day.
I can go commit a murder, come in and give confession, but yet I just broke one of the main commandments that Christ gave out, and it's whatever. But yet we got to worship the Mother Mary. We got to worship, say, the baby Jesus and many other entities. Well, that's Isis. That is the representation of the male, the masculine, and the female. And the Catholic Church is known as the beast. And it will be the beast. They their own government. They are not even part of Italy. They are the government of Italy. Just like DC.
It's its own country.
Just like DC.
Yeah, that's what people get misunderstood. The Vatican's its own.
It's its own country.
Yeah.
Got its own military, got its own country, security. They got files and files and files that they only release every 25 years, a little bit at a time. There's no what's in there.
I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the statement? I don't remember who said it. It was in the last couple of years, but there was a statement made that if we all knew the secrets that are hidden in the Vatican vault, that it would rock the religious churches, all of them. It'll rock it to its core.
Absolutely.
And it would take 6 months or longer for all of us to recover.
Exactly, because it's based off the original Gnosticism and the way they believe, the Archon, just on and on and on. And they destroyed the Cathars, which were the protection of the original teachings of Christ. Why did they destroy them? There's a reason to that. And what they have, once again, the documents, because they were the original CIA, of all confessions, of all atrocities, all agendas, how they were established, their ritualistic beliefs, and who they really are. I mean, the Pope carries around a staff with the pine cone. What does that resemble? The pineal gland. And they don't want that pineal gland because what was one of the lands traveled to by one of the disciples? It was called pineal. And there's no reason for that. Because there was great enlightenment. And 500 years before Christ, when Buddha said it was or Buddha and the yogis had said it was easier to judge someone's shortcomings rather than your own, then Christ comes back and says, don't pull the splinter for someone, or point the splinter in somebody's eyes while pulling the plank out of yours. These were the travels he went to India because he had to challenge the Pharisees, and he went and learned something that was more ancient than the religions at the times. And he challenged the Pharisees with no doctrine, with no law. He challenged them with the law of presence, because that's where the God lied. He created the kingdom of heaven. That's why he destroyed temples. That's why he destroyed tax collectors. That's why he kept shifting back and forth from man to spiritual leader constantly. I cannot suffer them. He would act out and he would try to basically neglect his duties for what he was. He got scared because this man was an enlightened man who knew he had a path, but he had physical, he was subject to physical law. And when he was sacrificed based off his mastering of the internal self, that's why he was so renowned, because he was the only one.
Right.
And so there's a lot more to that with the changing of the Bibles based off the cultures at the times. And no matter what cultural breakdown happens, the first thing they want is the Bible. Why is that? If you have the spiritual teachings of Christ, you don't need that Bible. Ultimately, but it was left as a book of guidance for each and every individual life experience to be done according to the natural law.
Right.
So that's a lot of my stance with the religion, and of course we can talk about anything else.
Yeah. Well, see, and me personally, my walk with the Lord and stuff, my life, I don't go to churches because of my experiences with the churches. I've experienced, I had aunts and uncles in Lutheran, I had Methodist, Baptist, Pentecostal. I was Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
I've had such weird experiences in all of them that I believe that with my personal walk with the Lord right now is I'm in a comfort place where I can pray anywhere and he'll hear me. I don't have to go to a church for him to hear me.
That's what Christ said. That's what Christ put out. That's exactly. And here's one that's kind of a funny. When Adam and Eve bore 3 children and Cain went to the land of Nod and took a wife, who did he marry? An ape?
No.
There was nobody else around.
No.
So the discrepancies and the contradictions follow all through until Christ showed himself and he spoke about the law of one. And the law of one is ultimately Christ consciousness. There is nothing more powerful. He gave the code to the connection of God to tap to your faith and spiritual power of protection, the formulation of your reality, and what you can do with faith alone, because you must first believe without seeing.
Right.
Man, that's some powerful shit.
It is.
Very.
It is.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these diehard Christians are going to come to learn this. And in Revelations, it says that, oh Lord, we've kept your commandments. We've done your will. And the Christ says, I never knew you. Why is that? Because you missed the point. You missed the point.
Mm-hmm.
The point was the narrow path.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean you can't defend yourself. That's why he sacrificed, because he knew the enemy we were facing.
Right.
And you were allowed to defend yourself. You were allowed to be shrewd and stand in the righteousness of God. And if that means taking away the soulless enemy, he does not condemn you for that. And never has, never will. God gave the Israelites the power to take out many armies. And he's given us the power now to stand our ground with the truth, the light, and the way. And he knows it, and we know that he's got our back. But Christ was no punk. He was no pushover.
No.
He didn't say, I came to bring peace. He said, I came to bring division. Brother against brother, father against father. So what that means is there will be a division. So why not a divide of the country? Because we're facing an artificial spirit. So that artificial spirit is not protected by natural law. And they're meant to be eradicated in a lot of ways. Mentally, hopefully not physically. Now, when they create the android, well, we're going to take their asses out because they don't count.
Yeah, they're not real. They don't have a
They're not
consciousness.
real. They don't have a soul. They
No, there's no
only
soul.
have the consciousness downloaded into them.
Monty's back. Yeah, I was baptized into the Mormon church when I was 8 years old. And similar to BB, I quit going to church when I was 12,
Yeah.
you know. And
Because you were meant to. You were meant to. Like you were.
I feel like I was meant to.
Yeah.
To step away from that, because you know I can feel God within me. I can feel the Spirit within me.
Yes.
And
Right.
Well, think how many churches that now, if you want to go to and observe, have turned into a business.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Well, and
Too many
that's
to
a point. That's a point that I was going to bring up is that what made my turning point to not to go to church no more and have my personal walk with the Lord my own way was that when I was 15, I started to realize this whole tithing thing to the church. I grew up poor, but my mother was always giving money to the church. But then I would see the pastor driving around in a brand new Lincoln. Well, we're scrapping scraps for food from the government. So
Exactly.
Yep.
what were we gaining out of that, you know, other than going to hear him and pay him what we could just do right at home?
Yeah. Paying homage to a false idol.
Right.
And what's their purpose? Like, they need to be driving a hoopty and giving of their self and giving everybody else a Jaguar if they believe
Right.
in what they believe.
And I felt like too, like if we're giving him tithes instead of giving the church, you know, like we're giving basically him tithes, if we were out and if we saved that money and we found another person that was in need, help that person out, because you never know what, like you said, consequences, and that person may end up having their life changed to change somebody else's life down the road. It's like a chain reaction. So we're giving up chances to help somebody else when we're giving it to, like you said, a false idol.
Well, see, that's the thing. And there's stuff in there inside some of the scriptures about not knowing who the wanderer is or a person in need is. Because I'm going to tell you, I've given 10, 20, 30, 100 bucks.
Oh, I
whoever.
have too. I have
And
too.
then you turn around and they're gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just disappear.
it's weird. I've had the same thing happen.
Like, why would an angel come in a Gucci suit? Christ didn't hang around with, you know, a bunch of rich aristocrats. He threw himself in with the vagrants, and
Right.
they prospered better than these other fools.
I
And
got
I'm
to.
going to tell you, Christian
That is why-
is mentioned 3 times in the Bible, twice by the Romans, because
Yeah.
they said they would not fornicate with them, and these people and the followers of Christ. And then the other Christian was when they were writing, whoever it was, writing in Galatians to the churches. And he didn't say my fellow Christians, he said my dear Christians.
Mhm.
And that was
I've got a story that just when I did with that whole the pipeline shutdown or whatever, and I was down there in North Carolina, and I never ever carry cash on me because what I do, I haul fuel, so I never carry cash on me. So, but that day, some reason I had got cash out of the ATM just in case, because of the way everything was going down there. And I pulled into a truck wash to get the truck washed, and out of the blue, a guy got a knock on the window, and there was a guy wondering if I had any spare money. He needed gas money to get home to his wife and kids. Yeah. And so I said, hold on a second. I just happen to have $20 in my pocket. I gave it to him, and I no longer I gave it to him, and he appreciated it. He thanked me, and by that time the truck was pulling forward, so I went to pull the truck forward, and I look over again because he walked off. I looked at my rear; he was gone, and there was no light. It freaked me out because he was gone. And I even got on the CB and asked the guys behind me. I said, "Hey, was there a guy that?" He said, "No, we didn't see anybody."
Exactly.
It was
and, and once again, no coincidence.
No,
but I see a chat. Dreamweaver, which Bible do you read? King James has been changed, I heard. That is correct. King James altered the Bible because he was forced by his noblemen to appease the sacrilegious views of the time to the masses. So, yes, it was extremely offered. And what I read are some of the oldest texts around. I read the Gnostic Bible.
Right.
And so, I mean, but it doesn't matter that you have the King James. What matters is what Christ said. That can never be changed because the outline of what was said and the parables spoken, because they know. I'm going to tell you, the enemy knows their general, if you will, and what happens when you lead the lambs astray. So that's not going to be altered. And what's altered is the formulation and the interpretation, the etymology and the phonetics that were used to alter the Bible. But the basis of understanding is still the same. So King James, New American Version, Gnostic Bible, whatever you want to call it, what matters is what Christ said and the power of God brought by the prophets. And if you learn those things, and then Psalm, because Psalm is the magic of the Bible that enhances the spirit.
See, I have the NIV. I have the NIV version.
Yeah.
From my own personal Bible.
I have the Thompson Chain Reference Bible. That's what I.
Now, I do know the Bible's been interpreted 5,000 different ways.
Right.
And so what I want to know is what the very original true Bible says. The whole Bible, no missing books.
Well,
and you guys were talking about churches a while ago. Look at Joel Osteen.
Oh my God.
Or Billy Graham. Or
some of the worst.
All these mega churches. All these mega churches are raking in the money and everything. They're not giving it to the poor. They're not helping the veterans. They're not helping.
No, Kenneth Copeland's a demon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what burns me up on those churches.
Yeah. And it is, because you're not supposed to be there. You were given the book that will guide your life. And you start in the new covenant, not the old way of old to new. You go from new to old. kind of like the Aramaic, right it to left. You know,
Right.
you start with what Christ said because he gave the message. And the Old Testament teaches you about God, Yahweh. And the New Testament teaches you about Christ.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to know.
See, a lot of people think that you have to go to church and they have bills to pay and stuff like that. Jesus went to the temple, and that's why he flipped over the tables when they was collecting the money.
Yep.
And did he not say that my church shall never be built in brick, mortar, or stone? That my church is where two or more are gathered in my name is a good thing.
Yep.
Right. And he said that the only things he wanted was to spread the love and spread the gospel.
That's it. And that's what it's about. And the gospel is the 10 commandments, the parables he brought, and the fear of God. And it's not fear, it's fear of the condemnation of sin against man for your own personal gain.
That's one way of putting it.
Yep. I know Putin is a God-fearing man.
Who?
Putin.
Okay.
Russia.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Putin.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
definitely a God-fearer. He said it himself.
He is not the enemy. He is not the enemy.
No, we've been portrayed.
I don't believe that.
We have been lied to about that for ever since the beginning of the Cold War.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the only ones pushing that, well, maybe Fox too, are the communist socialist regimes that are pushing that, oh, Russia this, Russia that, because they are Orthodox Christians in republic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, our country demonized the Russians so bad, years ago, back in the 50s and 60s, it was Russia, 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 just like we heard for the last, 5-6 years, Russia, Russia, Russia. And, it's no wonder that they've taken the defensive position that they have against us.
Well, yeah.
Because if we're sitting here screaming Russia, Russia, Russia all the time, they've got to be in major fear that we're going to attack them.
And see, and I'm going to tell you that on this formulation of the new republic in this convention of states, that if you don't think the Republic of Russia and Putin won't ally with the republic because they respect the American people, they just don't trust the government, then people got another thing coming. We have a lot of allies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
See, a lot of people don't know that during the Bay of Pigs and the Russian Missile Crisis, or the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
The leader of Russia, I forgot his name.
Gorbachev.
No, that's in the 80s. JFK had a red phone direct hotline to the Russian premier, or whatever his name was. It's Nicholas Khrushchev, I think.
Oh,
I think that's who it is. I think. Don't quote me. But they was talking every week, and the American people didn't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I started seeing the light. Well, Russia ain't that bad after all.
No. And they won't.
I never thought they were.
And they won't seem to put out what Putin had said, or Putin had said when he was talking about a lot of this cryptocurrency theft. He flat out said that it was certain people in the government asking these folks to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said that he paid off. This has been a few months ago. I seen where he had paid off his country's debt, and he kicked out the deep state more or less out of his country, the Khazarian Jews.
Yep.
Because the
Mhm.
Khazarian Jews are the ones that came in and murdered the czars,
Yeah.
and the original communist, well, the leaders was like Stalin and Lenin,
Yeah.
and there's another one
Marx.
that was yeah. But
I
Marx
know that.
has
I know
some,
there were other ones. What, the Bolsheviks?
yeah. There you go. The Bolsheviks. Yes.
Hold on, when I spilt my damn ashtray, I got to pick it all up.
Yeah, been there, done that. Hey, BB, I heard you telling a story, a little bit back about giving the money to the guy at the truck wash.
Yeah.
I had put it in chat on Travis's channel one night here last week about something that happened to my father.
Yeah, I seen that.
He was Travis kind of read it wrong. It wasn't $18,000. It was 18 karat on the gold necklace and the ring. But in case any of you missed it, I'll tell you real quick. My dad was at Sam's Club, and he was loading groceries into the trunk of the car, and this car pulls up, and it's got this gentleman and his wife and a small child, and I guess they were from Dubai. But they pulled up to my dad. The guy got out and came over and asked my dad if he could help them with money for gas. And so my dad gave him $100 bill. The guy stepped back for a moment, and then he took off his necklace and he took off his ring, and he handed them to my dad and said, "Thank you so much." And my dad said, "No, no, 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 no. You keep these. These are yours. I don't need them." But as my dad was saying that, the guy walks back around the car, gets in the car, and says, "No, we insist," and drove away and was gone.
Yeah.
And it was, my mom had to call me and tell me about it and send me pictures of the jewelry and whatnot. Because that's the first time. My dad gives money to people like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody asks him for money to help, he'll gladly give them $100 bill. And I just think it's such a great example of what humanity should be like.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying on that one show with Travis. People are worried, oh, what if this happens? What happens? And I think there's enough of us out here that humanity, if it came down to a bad situation, humanity, look when devastation hits, how people pull together. And it's sad that it has to take devastation for people to pull together.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if this country went through a change like that, the people would pull together, and humanity would and God would help guide that in that direction. And I believe God will be involved with it completely. And it would be, you're going to see like miracles that you've never seen before.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, 9/11 kind of did that because, there is some essence to order out of chaos. And it's just because it pulls people together and it can work on the bad or the good.
Right.
Kind of like when everybody joined together after the two towers fell. How America pulled together.
Oh, yeah.
How the America the people came together. But what still taps my hide, grinds my gears is the people that was behind that nefarious scheme that caused that. And that caused the 20-year war. That's what still right now. It makes me so mad.
That comes from their belief in that order out of chaos, but that they are a necessary evil to create good, besides finding different ways. So they put themselves in a higher echelon of spiritual righteousness that is derived from the Canaanites.
But enough to destroy 3,000 people just from those two buildings, and not to mention the people that was on the airplanes, not to mention the ones that have gave their lives fighting for our freedoms over there in the sandbox. That's in the mountains. To me, it's all the sandbox. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it
Right.
is.
I
These
lost
people don't care about our lives.
buddies. I lost 2 buddies over there in 2003 from IEDs.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
from our local community, and when I learned about 6 or 8 months ago, when I finally learned the whole truth, I'd always had that suspicion after the first year of those buildings coming down of what was coming out. But when I finally found out the whole truth, it brought me to tears, Dreamweaver, because of knowing what people gave their lives for.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Very
They're
much.
fighting for our country. They go over there, they get killed, and for what?
It's a board game to these a-holes. That's what worries me with a lot of the Trump stuff and these subliminal verses of 5D chess. Well, look at the checkerboard of the Masonic Order. It is a board game. They've been playing this board game for thousands of years because it doesn't affect that 1%. And once again, the universal currency from the people that create the currency that we use today are souls.
Yeah. Yep.
And it is disgusting.
And not only that, it's organized, so you can't really tie them together, can you?
Yeah.
Well, till the day I take my last breath, I will still have our military and our veterans' backs and support them.
Absolutely, because it's vice versa.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It is organized, and that's why there's going to have to be this division to where these organizations can create their metropolitan industrial slave states because they can't get the consent based off karmatic law that they fear. And there will be those that suffer. There will be those that die in masses because I guess it just takes erasing some of the gene pool. But that's what happens with God's people, is that he would develop a nation for all of us to gather. And since it is organized, it is hard to bring down, because until we have organization that back us, and they're coming and they're being built, then we have to have different levels of hierarchies and foot soldiers to bring the fight to that enemy, to cause that succession, because they'll only get 11 states, whatever Kabbalistic number, 11, 13, something like that, the most 17. And we're going to have to give it to them, because that's part of the biblical times where we will live amongst each other. But in the age of Aquarius that they promote and want to believe is the pouring of knowledge and the coming of one. But there's such thing as called the law of paradox. So we're getting duality, when the whole time before it was about bringing everything to one. So now we're coming into duality. And that's why I say universally there has to be a division, because that's the only way to protect the elect. And it's happening. I mean, and it's going to happen.
See, Eisenhower tried to warn us about the military industrial complex.
Yeah, he did.
And I feel as if I really, especially feel after those treasonous bastards that was behind the buildings coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after that. Now, if the United States could just keep our nose to ourselves and not stick it in anyone else's, like Libya, Iraq, Iran, everybody else, maybe things might cool down.
Yeah. And that's the
Libya,
thing, because
Omar Gaddafi.
Yeah, because they want to keep that distraction, and it's a damn shame that these elected officials that are brought on by legacy, and thank God that there are other ones coming in that are being chosen that can create legislation called for the people, but yet 1%, 10% actually goes to the people. Like, that is where the fight's at. That's where it has to go to the municipalities and powers, and that's where it will change. And it's the only way it will change. But it's an ever evolving fight. It's an adapt and overcome type of fight, and there's no other way. There is no other way than some type of peaceful diplomatic divorce, so that they can run their experiment to see and wake up those 33.3% that they need to bring some type of wholesomeness. But we're looking for quite a while of time for that to happen, but not for the establishing of the Convention of States. And I don't believe it's just going to be the states. This is going to happen across the world. There is going to be a separation of every continent because this is a worldwide event.
It's already happening.
Well, there you go.
See, we had struggled against Muammar Gaddafi for years, late 70s, 80s, and then all of a sudden, we get done in Iraq, then we're going into Afghanistan, and then shortly after that, looky here, Obama's in office, and we go into Libya.
Yeah,
and he was getting ready to put his country's gold up against the OPEC dollar so he could be financially free of the OPEC dollar in his country.
Yeah.
And what they do, they pull Benghazi, they pull other shit, and then they turn Gaddafi's people against him, and then the United States steals his gold, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
That's kind of what happened with the trade centers. That was one of the things that was a distraction, so they could, run and hit some of the gold areas, and it's because of the technology. I mean it just goes so deep. That's why there has to be and why I keep going back to it, an establishing of a new republic.
Yeah.
And to have a diplomatic commerce with these industrialized, slaverized mega cities that they're trying to create, because they can't get our consent, and we will profit greatly because we will have to tend to them. And it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I'll be right back. I got to go hit the privy.
All right.
How are we all?
Wow.
People?
I'm just trying to absorb all this. Like I said, I've
Have I
learned
got
so
sound?
much. Yeah, you've got sound. I've just been trying to gather all this information in the last 2 nights. I've learned more information the last 2 nights than I did in this last 6 months.
Oh, there's a lot more. You know
You
why
know.
the reason? You want to know the reason why Benghazi happened? Of why Clinton let that ambassador and those military guys. Oh my gosh!
That
There
was
was a
an
cup.
assassination.
Yeah, more or less. Okay, to cover up the Osama bin Laden living in Iran thing, and the SEAL Team 6 went over there and killed his double, right? That's why they quickly buried him at sea.
Which didn't
Well-
fall in line with Muslim practices.
No. Okay, so Obama and Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, sold a bunch of CIA cached away Stinger missiles to Benghazi, to the opposite, to the rebels of Benghazi, I should say. Sorry,
Right.
I
Right.
forgot the leader's name. And
Yeah, I don't even remember.
while our SEAL Team 6 was in, or a group of our soldiers was in a Chinook helicopter, one of those Stinger missiles got used. The dummies didn't know how to activate it, and so it got shot into the helicopter, and it didn't explode. When they landed, they ran the trace numbers of that weapons cache back to the CIA dump site, and to cover all that up, that's where Bergadal, whatever he's at, you know what I'm saying, the traitor,
Yeah.
he was used in that, and a bunch of Libya's gold money, the gold, was used to pay I think it was the Taliban, or the Afghan, something like that. Some of those faction groups over there to cover that up. So they sent Ambassador Stevens over there on a do or die mission to retrieve the rest of those Stinger missiles before it came out into the open. And so therefore, that's why there were ships there. There was a couple other groups standing close by to go help Ambassador Stevens, and yet they said don't.
Yeah.
And so it was all over the legal Stingers that they had sold without congressional approval, mind you.
Yep. Well,
And so that's why
she did a
Benghazi
lot of
happened.
things. She did a lot of things that probably should have had congressional approval.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
I think it's still going on with all congressional approval.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yep. I
It's
think
just-
you're dead on with that, BB.
yeah, it's just look at the here just a few weeks ago. They were talking about the B-52s down in Somalia bombing.
Right.
Not a word about it. I don't
Not
think
on-
Congress
not in our
didn't even know
media.
about it. What's that?
See,
Not in our media, anyway.
No.
I had
And then-
a buddy.
What would be the
I-
point of that?
I had a buddy that was, when we first went to Somalia, I had a buddy that was in that conflict. And then I had another buddy, he was in Bosnia.
Yeah,
And
I
I
had a buddy that
I
was in
still
there.
never understood what happened there. I mean,
Yeah, I had a buddy that I used to roommate with one of his brother's one of my best friends, and he come over back from Bosnia. But yeah, there's just so much that goes on that we don't know about.
I know.
Probably a good thing we don't.
I don't know about that. Maybe
Well-
if maybe if we did know about things like that could stop happening.
Well,
Here's the thing. They're supposed to have true oversight over everything. The only thing they'd never had oversight on was the Clowns in Action Black Ops sites, the Black Ops
Yeah.
projects of what they was
Yep.
funding. And the Clowns in Action have been drug smuggling in the United States ever since the 60s. That's how they was funding their Black Ops.
Well, yeah.
And then when the other three-letter agency got involved in their crookedness amongst with the Clowns in Action, it got really ridiculous and stupid.
Well, and you got to remember why they were created. You know, why was the FBI created initially?
Just like the Clowns in Action. JFK was
Yeah.
going to splinter him a thousand pieces of the wind because he knew they was going beyond their authority. How would you say it, Rick Greenweaver? They was going beyond their authority.
They had no authority technically
what they-
because they were
Yeah, they-
created unconstitutionally. Those
Well-
agencies were created unconstitutionally.
The plausible deniability was taken along with that on that three-letter agency, but they went above and beyond, and that's how they grew too powerful. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And they got out of hand, and there's no reining that back in when they're
Sure there
more
is.
powerful, when they're more powerful than all three branches of the government.
You interrupt their money supply, the flow of money, you interrupt them.
Yeah.
You stop their money supply, you stop them. The
They'd
problem
never let it
is
happen.
oh no, they'll fight that tooth and nail because
Oh, yeah.
all the people that are
Well, see,
throwing
that's
the
the
money
thing.
at them are in Congress.
That's the
They've had
thing.
a black budget for
Yeah,
The main way to do that, and it's hard to do, but it would have to be a massive movement of no federal tax.
yeah.
And that's one way.
stop it.
And just
Well,
stop.
the other way is get rid of all of the members of Congress that are
Yeah. Yeah.
feeding all of these black ops.
And,
The
and, that's,
professional-
and that's the thing. That's the thing that always confused me. When they bypass their constituency, then they have neglected their duty by the Constitution,
Mhm.
and they should
Their
be able
election-
to be removed at any point. And so there's something there protecting them that is extremely corrupt, and there's no reason that all of them should not be removed.
Dereliction of duty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they've not just that, they've created impeachable offenses for themselves,
Yeah.
but if they're all involved, they're not going to impeach each other. They're
then-
not going to stop
and then-
each other
yeah.
because if you hurt one, you hurt yourself.
Yeah, but then
In
trying to
some way.
find the constitutional lawyer that's brave enough to take it on is another thing.
The one
true.
that won't get bought.
Or taken out.
Or taken out.
Yep.
Yeah, no one's prepared to do that though,
Nope.
No, they're not.
because they
They're
would have
not.
done it already with everything that's happening, especially in where I am now. Like, no one's got the balls.
And that's why this whole Trump is the chief of whatever he's supposed to be. He would have the protection to these constitutional lawyers, not the Kraken or whatever that took all the money and disappeared and didn't give it to the audits. So what is he doing? Where are his constitutional lawyers? Where are these actions being pushed? Because they bring them out publicly, but you never hear another word about them.
Mhm.
Right.
I was
Well, so
told
they
that
said publicly.
What was that? You guys talked over each other.
Sorry. So have they
No,
said that? Have they come out and said that publicly?
Well, what they're talking about was attacking like Twitter, Facebook, and some of these technocrats, because if you can get them, then that'll scare the lower levels, the agencies, because that's who they use to collect their information. And Trump was supposed to create a mega lawsuit against all of them on behalf of the people and himself, but there's not been much speak about that. His last rally here in Alabama was, let's talk about the jab. Let's I got it. Like, when did
I
you,
heard that.
when
That
did you
didn't make sense. That didn't make sense to me either when he said that he got it, because
really?
if you've
But he didn't get it.
if you've had COVID or the sickness, excuse me,
Mhm.
if you've had the sickness, you're
can't
not
get it.
supposed to get the jab.
Exactly.
So he had it.
Yep.
They helped him through it with the therapeutics and all of that, and then at some point after that, he got the jab.
Yeah. So that's such
that
a
makes no
red
sense.
flag. And then he doesn't allow this Q movement to come in because of his public, I guess, face. That one he put here in Coleman, Alabama, was probably one of the most turncoat, repetitive, repetitive, whatever you want to call it, repetitive services that he has given. He has said the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And then he pushes the jab. He got the jab. It's y'all's choice, but if I was you, I would get it. So it's like they get to you too, brother.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Remember when he went to the hospital for when he supposedly had it? He talked about the HQ, hydro.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, but that's what he took while he was in there. He didn't say anything about getting the jab in there. He took those other.
When he was in the hospital, he took the two different ones, the Regen and the
right.
high.
Yeah.
The IV.
So why would he need the jab?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, the problem with it is that
two of those are classified as vacations, people.
yes, they are. But the thing is that once you've had the sickness, okay, the changes that it makes to your body, you're not supposed to get the jab because the jab destroys your immune system.
And he did not specify. He just said, get the vax or get the jab.
Vacation.
And he didn't specify the therapeutics that had been switched over, so he gave no information. He was just like, hey, go out there and get it. I got it. It seems to be safe. So I think you should all get it. But but then he said, but you got your freedoms. I took that a little contradictory.
It was contradictory, and then he also made a statement I heard where he said that all of our teachers should get it. And to me, I don't know what to think about that. It's definitely a dual message.
It is. It is such a dual message. And then you got all these decoders like, oh, well, he meant this, he meant that. It doesn't matter what a few anons are pulling together. It's the 80,000 people that showed up that he was telling that hang on his every word. And next thing you know, they're all going to get the jab.
So is he saying something to decipher in code?
All right, now see that right there. I love Canadian Patriot, but that has nothing to do with your own research. It's what he said. Like, he expects people to research, not take anyone's word. It's your choice always. But that's not a standpoint of someone who's protecting what's supposed to be a new republic if he's the chief of staff or he's the chief or whatever. And
Right.
that's the only thing I mean by that. No disrespect, but that is not a common theme. That's only a common theme in the Q narrative. That's not to the 80,000 people that showed up in Coleman, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I don't mean anything by that, but to say do your own research, what Google or DuckDuckGo, you know, DuckDuckGo is controlled by Google.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yes, it is.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't understand why, if you're running on DuckDuckGo, how come you can't do StreamYard and Restream and
Exactly, because they
and
want
Zoom.
you to switch back to Google because it's supposed to be privacy simplified. Well, I don't know how simplified privacy is because it's just privacy. But they, in order to get DuckDuckGo, you have to have Google.
I
Interesting.
didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't use DuckDuckGo, so I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Read the DuckDuckGo, and it says it is an empowered by Google.
Yeah, I
And
have
Google-
Chrome and DuckDuckGo.
and Google, we all know is, you know,
NSA.
well, clowns in action too. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of three-letter agency, but DuckDuckGo is not a source of information, nor is Telegram, because they're anonymous sources. Whiplash, I will prove 110% that every bit of his tokenized cryptocurrency by chasing down his wallet through Stellar Expert is a lie. I would prove everything that Mr. Poole is pushing out about McPhee is a trigger-based investment, and then the secret truth of Mark Panene is someone that has never left his chair, served his country, and has only seen things from a digital perspective. So, Mike Penny.
oh, okay. I was wondering who you was talking about.
So if you're going to DuckDuckGo to do your research, well, if YouTube was cleansed, you can't find half of what's on DuckDuckGo. The only thing you can do is find contradiction from the information you're given, whether it be DuckDuckGo or Telegram. Go to mainstream, find that contradiction, find the information, then you have an arsenal. But you cannot take anything they take, because like on Whiplash and the rest of them, they give information that's a year old, 2 years old. Q drops are 2 or 3 years old, because future proves past is the equivalent of a PSYOP. That is the formula of a PSYOP, because anything in between can be proven. History is future proves past, and it always has been. Every 100 years, we have future proves past.
If you don't learn from your history, it does repeat itself.
Yeah.
Future proves past. So, you know, DuckDuckGo, I mean, you can use it, but it's not privacy simplified. You need a VPN. You got to use DuckDuckGo to find older videos, but you still have to find the contradictions in the paperwork and the documents and formulate that with mainstream, and then find out where you can take it. Other than that, you're just passing along a community that already knows that. And then when Trump says what he says, and it's he expects everybody to do their own research. Well, why wasn't that said? It just says you have your choice. Of course, you have your freedoms, contradictively.
Right.
Like if people don't understand that people that are of the 1%, if they're going to give up their power for the 99% of their subjects, is why destroy the society? I mean, you would destroy your subjects. And NESARA and GESARA is only cryptocurrency being brought mainstream. It's called the Great Reset, and it's called just NESARA and GESARA. But they both match hand in hand.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
And
they're part of the Agenda 21 and the 2030 agenda.
Yeah.
It's to warm you up to crypto. That's why they're trying to push crypto.
Yeah. And here's another thing. So you got the progressive left on mainstream. How would you take the conservative base and change their mind to an ever-evolving economic system? Well, you would create Q.
Oh, it'd be perfect.
It'd be perfect.
You got to think. You have to think like them. I think. You do. You have to know your enemy.
Your enemy.
Yeah.
You all hear?
You have to understand them in order to beat them.
Right.
There's a new.
They've been planning this for years and years and years. Like you said, it was a chessboard.
Yes.
They have dotted their I's and they've crossed their T's. They know what they're doing, and we have to outsmart them. And the reason why we haven't outsmarted them is because we're not organized. We need to organize ourselves in order to beat it.
That's why they cause division.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfect. It's the perfect storm.
Well, you think too, a lot of this information that's given out, you think that, secret intelligence just allowed you to find this?
They wanted you to find it.
Yes, they want you to find it. And they want you to find it. So because you're going to find yourself in different cultures, and neither one will be able to say you were right or you were wrong because they are creating a diverse culture. So like they always do, they will create the cultural narrative to where nobody can prove they were right or wrong.
Yeah.
And they'll make you feel like that you contributed.
And you virtually can't prove that it exists. And if every time you try, you're just going to look crazy.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can take from Telegram because bottom line, these Mike Penny, Scott, Patriot Fighters, Melissa
it wouldn't surprise me if
Redfield.
they were getting paid to push this narrative.
Yep.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But
ASIO.
a lot of people have brought that up.
All their information comes from Telegram, period. It comes from Telegram, from these anonymous sources or 4chan, or from other anons that decode, which is nothing but perception and had been wrong time and time again. And they think they have their narrative, but they don't understand. Are you pushing a one patriot party, a one Christian outlook? And what is that? That's another NWO. You're destroying the Constitution.
Yep.
Well, anything is an NWO, kind of.
Yeah, really.
Anything other than the Republic
What's happening now?
NWO. Yeah.
And of course, let's be real here. There has to be some type of, maybe not hierarchy. Thank God for maybe some of the cryptocurrency that's coming out that gives more power to the people. But there does have to be some type of control, because either that you got factionalized culture, and it's just got to be done in a different way, and nobody has that answer yet.
Hey, Dreamweaver, did you say the other night that crypto, it doesn't have any value?
No. It's got great value.
Certain ones do.
There's no physical value, like say gold. Gold is a physical value.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, what you're getting at is that crypto is similar to the fiat dollar.
Well, here's the deal. Cryptocurrency is backed by energy. It is energy harvested and it is energy stored. There is nothing more valuable in this universe than energy. And
So-
then through the blockchain, it creates a currency known as mining. And what you can do with that cryptocurrency is you can exchange it for the American dollar or hold it in stable coin and spend it off your debit card. So it already has a use case. I can spend any cryptocurrency I have right now the same as I can the American dollar.
Yep.
Yeah, but all right. Just say if the internet went down completely worldwide, where would your dollar be?
Where
Because
would
we've
your
seen
dollar?
in the,
You
we've
can go
seen
to-
in the
you can go to
hurricane
an
the other day.
You
Yeah.
can go
You know,
to
the
an
hurricane-
ATM and withdraw your money.
Well, that's the thing.
Well,
like,
not with electricity. If you didn't have electricity,
but like now, if
either, there was a big
electricity went
storm.
down, we got hit with an EMP or something like that. That's where precious metal comes into play.
Yeah.
But if the banks go down, then cryptocurrency will not, because they're not a centralized bank. So
Right.
that's why you have to invest in precious metals and in cryptocurrency or just precious metals, because they will be backed. Bitcoin will be backed by precious metals along with other like Stellar and XRP and stuff like that. And anything for that matter, whether it be agriculture, they're going to take every source of commodity and turn it into a asset-based token. And everything will be worth everything. Everything your skill is done is be worth something.
Do you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing going this
It's
direction?
good while it's not mainstream. It's bad in 2030 because they can track through blockchain every transaction you make.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought, because it creates a digital footprint,
Yes,
wouldn't it?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's why you got to play devil's advocate with it like you do basically with anything else. But that's the thing. There won't just be cryptocurrency. There's still going to be the precious metal market, which is going to skyrocket
Mhm.
because like Ethereum and Bitcoin, you can consider that's what gold and silver are going to be. And then
Right.
platinum and titanium are going to skyrocket too. Then
Yeah.
you're going to have,
Could
Then
they
you
ever
can-
devalue gold
huh?
and silver? Could they ever devalue gold and silver where it
They,
wasn't
they
worth?
already have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it will be devalued because of the economic change. But if you look at what is going to happen, silver is going to go up 100 or 1,000 times fold when
Yep.
Bitcoin goes into a collateral based asset. So it's being devalued. So cryptocurrency can build its basis as the digital asset. So it's going to lower gold and silver, but gold and silver will eventually skyrocket because it's going to also merge. Because here's the thing: precious metals and energy go hand in hand. You need silver and gold to create technology, and you need that technology to mine that cryptocurrency. And that cryptocurrency is going to harvest the unlimited source of energy. So you're making the ultimate currency, and they will skyrocket. All precious metals, copper too.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially precious copper, like fine copper. I invest in that as well. But there will also be markets that are physical cash from the CBDCs. You'll still have physical cash, like it's just going to be backed by crypto, in other words, Bitcoin and Ethereum, the gold and silver standard of cryptocurrency, and the precious metals. And your dollar base, like your physical base, is going to be backed by precious metals.
Yep.
So it's going to be multiple markets.
And it's already happening. You've already got a lot of countries, all the major countries have already switched back to the gold
Yeah.
standard. They've
then you
stepped
had
away
like
from the fiat
Venezuela.
dollar. They won't
Yeah.
even accept U.S. currency anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
See-
And that's what's helping the crypto market now. And then
Right.
you're having like a lot of these third world countries taking on Bitcoin as a medium of exchange.
Right?
So it's happening. And that Nasara and Jasara stuff is happening, but it's not Nasara and Jasara. It's not even necessary, and it's the Great Reset, if you will, because there's two sides to that, and there's two sides to the Nasara and Jasara. And what
Right.
it is the opening of multiple markets to the masses, and that's what's going on. But gold, silver, platinum, titanium, and copper are going to skyrocket. Your
Yep.
silver will be worth $123 and probably in 2022, $500 in 2023, and then as the closer this gets, gold is going to go up 100 times, or say 36 times, and your silver is 1,000 times, because gold is a different use case, but silver is more plentiful when it comes to technology. And if you ever watch some of those old movies, like to where they would make money and then they go get silver bars, that's a
Right.
foretell. Your silver is going to basically outperform gold.
Yes.
That's
Silver
why they don't
has
talk
been-
about silver. That's why they don't talk about. So they say buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy
No.
gold.
No.
You
buy
want to buy
silver.
silver. You buy silver.
Silver has been devalued for so long. That's why it's so much lower than gold.
Yes.
Well,
And
no.
take
You
advantage of it.
gotta understand, how the ratio works.
Yeah.
Right now you're looking at about 71, 72, 72 to 1. So it would take 72 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold in
Yeah.
value.
I
And
understand
it
that.
should be down about half of that ratio.
Yeah.
And
Silver-
if you go back to medieval times and whatnot, back those time periods, it was 2 to 1.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
So
The coming economic system is going to be 1,000 to 1. Like, you don't understand. I mean, you got to understand the increase in silver by the increase of cryptocurrency and these new markets is going to be outstanding. I mean, you're talking upwards of $5,000 an ounce of silver.
for silver,
Yep.
yes. And you're looking upwards of 35 to 40,000 an ounce for gold.
Exactly. That's why silver will outperform gold, because if you look from $20, $18, whatever it'll be, up to that, I mean, it outperforms gold. So silver is the unspoken hero.
Yeah.
So you think invest
That
in
is why-
silver?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
Do you
Right
think
now,
the
yes.
Definitely invest in
think-
silver.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's future in silver.
Yes.
Not in paper silver though. In
Yes. Do
physical
not take a certificate.
silver.
Do not take a certificate. Do not take a
0.999 troy ounce.
Yep.
yes. Buy physical silver, and especially because it's going to get lower.
So
And
you
buy-
want to buy the
Alright.
silver from your mint?
Mhm.
You can
Yes.
buy it.
Yep.
Yeah, you can buy it.
I'm gonna tell you, you can go to
all
Money
over the
Metal Market Exchange or Money Metal Markets, and there's several other ones, but that's who I buy from.
Just so people watching the stream, know what we're talking about, and they can follow.
The best
reason I s-
thing to do is find a reputable gold exchange or precious metals exchange in your area
Yeah,
and make sure that you do a little
First-
research on them before you go in, but then set an appointment and go in and buy
Hang
from a local
Charlie.
person. Don't buy over the internet.
Hang on. First, you got to put out a disclaimer. You are not a financial advisor.
This
No.
is correct. I am not a financial advisor.
I am not a
I'm not
financial.
giving,
I am
not
an
giving financial
enthusiast.
advice. These are
Yeah.
my personal opinions.
But when you're trying to look
Getting
for a
trouble.
company to buy gold or silver from, what are you looking for in terms of a
Well, I'm gonna tell you about Money Market, and I know he said like online because now you do need to go check around locally and make an appointment and buy raw silver, but Money Metal Market Exchange is one of the biggest growing ones that had the best premium, and it don't matter if you pay a few dollars over premium because you're hodling it. It's for the long term, and as it drops, and I can vouch because I have bought thousands of dollars worth of silver and it will show up in 2 days. And it's 0.999, the finest of silver that you can get. But if you can find raw silver without a mint on it and it just being raw with 0.99 on it, you might can buy it at spot price with any premium.
so you want
that
more
or a
silver?
dollar or two over premium. You start getting
Yeah.
into coins and stuff like that, or mint marked bars, then you're talking anywhere from $10 to $12 an ounce over spot for the
Yeah.
premium.
Yeah, but I do know that MMX, Money Market Exchange, is no more than $3 over premium, and then you get insured shipping, so anything happens to it, you get your money. I mean, but go local, do some online, just whatever it is that works for you. But invest in physical silver raw or find a reputable exchange. And that's the one that I know that I use that has never let me down and are making great. And you can sell it back to them. So you don't have to worry about a pawn shop paying you spot. They'll give you $1 or $2 over spot at Money Market Exchange or Money Metal Market Exchange. So, but don't ever take a certificate and don't ever take a crypto silver. Get physical.
No.
When you say a certificate, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Silver
they give you a
certificate.
but they give you a silver certificate, kind of like $1, saying that you have so much in their vault, but you don't have physical possession of it. And so if something goes down, the internet goes down, you ain't getting you got your certificate, and don't nobody want the certificate. They want
Well, the company goes bust.
and they want their silver. So
Kind of like having leftover Confederacy money.
yeah.
So
More or
what
less, it's
makes
worthless.
silver so competitive? Do you know?
Huh?
Or what will make silver so competitive?
Well, one, it's use in technology. Two, it's so undervalued. But three, its conductivity, and gold is so sought after that it's a booming market for the retail investor. And your money versus what you spend and that you will gain in silver in the long run, you'll gain more in silver than you will gold.
Yeah, because it's so undervalued.
I've
Right
always thought gold was number one.
Yeah, so
but,
hold on. I'm going to grab one of my, because some of the best to buy is what they call junk silver. It's 90% silver, 10% copper, still worth money. But I'm going to show you something real quick.
Also known as constitutional silver. It's your pocket change that's 1964 and older.
So in other words, what I was saying a while ago about it's undervalued is if I was showing a graph, gold's way up here, right, and silver's way down below here. But what they're trying to do is make them almost equal, where they're both valued at the same. Is how I understood it a couple months ago. That's what they was. No, gold is still going to be more valuable, but I mean almost at the same level though. Not equally valuable as the same. If you,
Let me see.
They're gonna-
here.
I understand
they're
what
gonna-
you're saying, Monty.
They're going to
And
bring
these-
up the value of silver towards a lot more valuable. That's why he's saying it's going to be 1,000 times more.
And this right here, these are the 90% dimes and quarters and whatever, and they're 90% fine silver, 10% copper, and you can get a $10 base. I mean, $10 base at how price is going down silver. You can get $10 at 90% of what this is, and you need small
Small increments.
increments for buying than just getting ounces at a time. But
Right.
you can get this so American for $105 for a $5 face value, but it's dropping as it is because of the market. So it'll get to where you can get $10 face, and so that'd be a dime equal up to $10, not $10 in the worth of it, because this right here is only $5 face. That's
Right.
a lot of silver.
Yeah.
Or hold on. That's a lot of silver.
Yeah.
And so when things go down into a market, that 10% silver and what it's going to be worth will buy you God knows what. Just that dime. And they got $50 and whatever. And investing in junk silver and some ounce silver coins and bars is how you need to diversify your physical silver.
Right. You got to be able to break your purchasing power down into smaller bits so that you can barter.
Yes.
And you
Now,
don't want. I mean, if an ounce of silver is up at $1,000, for the ounce.
I mean,
and
don't
that's
wanna
all
be
you
carbon.
got. How are you going to make? How are you
you're
going
gonna
to
have
break
to
it
cut
down?
it up and coin it up, and then you're not gonna be able to prove the stamp on it.
Right.
So, and it keeps you from getting screwed.
Right.
So invest in physical silver. Don't worry about the cryptocurrency until you kind of get into it. Invest in physical silver because you will profit greatly. And it will drop. And it's going to keep dropping down to where it's below $20 an ounce. And it's going to go up exponentially. By the end of the year into 2022, it's going to be in the hundreds. Like
And
100,
that's-
like
that's
123.
Yeah, that's because
What, an ounce?
in January, per ounce.
What?
In January, Basel III requirements go into effect in the United States, and then Basel IV is also going to go into effect. And these are regulations that deal with the pricing of precious metals,
Yeah.
and
What?
it's already gone into effect for Europe.
Could you explain that a little bit?
Dreamweaver may know more about it than I do.
Yeah, well, Basel III is basically the reevaluation of currencies across the board, especially precious metals.
Right.
And without even getting into, because you can look it up, look up Basel III. And
How's that
it's-
spelled?
Basel,
Basel III. I've never-
Bazel.
That's all right. I'll find it.
Yeah,
You
it's easy to
can
remember.
find. Look up. Just go on YouTube and look up some videos about gold and silver. You'll learn all that you need to know.
Yes, yes.
So it's
And
the
listen to some of the
reevaluation
financial people on there.
and that's the reevaluation of what is it?
Precious
It's going to
metals.
be of a lot of the Iraqi dinar, of
Yeah.
multi different cultural currencies, and precious metals. And
Not
and-
just the dinar. You also have the Vietnamese dong. You have
you got
the
hundreds of
Zimbabwe
thousands of
diem.
dollars. And what I'm waiting for are the Bitcoin ATMs around where they accept international, payments at its current form in a reevaluation, so I can put into cryptocurrency. But I'm telling you, if you don't understand it, worry about cryptocurrency, invest in physical silver, and in 3 years, it will blow your mind.
Yep, I agree with
Yeah, and
that.
you're gonna pay 18 to $20 something an ounce, a $7 premium, and a $7 insurance, maybe a few dollar premium to get it sent to you. And that way you kind of get the feel from it. Then go look around so you have something to match with.
Right.
And say, this is what I'm looking for. And that way you can't get screwed. And you can make them take, or you can order a little block where you can scratch a little bit, and they usually have them in the shops to show that it's kind of pure silver. And never buy anything over than an ounce because things can be added to it.
Yeah,
And-
if it doesn't weigh out the way that it should,
Mhm.
and also there's a magnet test for the silver.
Yes.
That you should learn how to perform. It's very simple. And then on top of that, they have a machine. Most shops are going to have it. And when you calibrate it and you put the metal on there, it tells you exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It'll
And
tell
like I
you
said,
if
and
it's
to keep
fake
it
or
simple,
not.
to keep it simple with you, I would go to Money Metal Exchange.
Yeah.
Order me something. A few $100 will go a long way in the future.
Oh
How
yeah.
much will $100 get on silver?
Right now you can probably buy 3 ounces, 4
Yeah.
ounces for $100.
And like I said, and get you like 2 ounces of like the I always get like the Buffalo nickel, the African, the one that's kind of less, more of the collector value. There's the Walking Liberty round, and then there's the Buffalo round, and then get you a $5 face of dimes and quarters, and that way you have a diversity to show locally where you go what you're looking for. You're not going to be screwed on anything, and don't clean them.
No,
Now,
Don't clean the coins.
do not clean the
never,
coin.
Don't.
never clean your coins.
Yeah, just as they come from the whatever, do not clean them because it can erase the date and it can take some serious money off of it.
Yeah.
Can it?
Yes.
It takes the
Oh,
weight
wow.
off.
I'm going
You
to tell you a
need-
story.
If
A
you
man
got,
had-
like some dirt on them, or
Yeah.
somebody say they were in your cup holder in your car and soda got spilled,
Lucky
you
you
can
said
rinse
that.
them off with water
Yeah.
and
I'd be
clean
dumb
them
enough
up
to
that
do
way.
that.
Rub it with your
And
thumb.
if you do clean it, give it a light
use
rub with
cleansers.
your thumb. Get personal with it, but do not bring a Brillo pad. Do not scrub
Nope.
it. Don't
No
add
chemicals.
to it. Just
What's the name of-
be precious to the precious metal.
Yep.
Yeah,
'Cause
What's the
you
name of
will
that place?
devalue it.
yeah, what was the
Dreamweaver?
name of that place?
Money Metal Exchange.
Money
Money.
Metal Exchange.
Metal exchange.
And and order you some and watch the price, because as cryptocurrency goes up, and it has, silver has dropped, and it's going to continue to dropping as the markets crash. Not necessarily crash, but they're going to manipulate it down to bring people more into the cryptocurrency verse. And even if you spend up to $30 an ounce, I'm telling you, in a few years, that ain't gonna matter.
No,
At
when I
all.
bought mine, I ended up with premium. I paid 38.
Yeah, and that was
So
at
I'm
some
like
I
way
paid,
negative right now.
Yeah, I paid 33. I paid 29, and spot price was at 25. I paid 27. But
Yep.
It doesn't matter because it's going to grow.
yeah, it's gonna grow. But the thing with the Money Market Exchange, you get insured shipping. So if something happens, they resend it out. They have
Right.
great customer service, and you get physical silver with all the documentation and to get you a little bit of it. That way you can take it to local areas and say, hey, you're not going to screw me. This is what I'm looking for. Show me what you got.
Go to a reputable place that has documentation and everything.
Yeah.
Don't want to go to some Joe Smo black marketplace because it's easy to do silver gild a lead bar.
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
there's
If that
all
happens,
kinds
you
of
got-
fake silver, even
If
minted
If that
silver.
happens, you got to drill the center of the bar to make
Yep.
sure it's all the way pure silver.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
you
they
don't.
replug it.
That's
you
why-
don't no you don't have to go through all of that. There, like I said, there's a machine that you can set it on and it'll tell you whether or not it's pure silver.
It
Yeah.
X-rays it.
Yeah, it's basically they have one of those types of machines too. Yeah.
In a reputable place, I have that, but I'm
Yep.
telling you an easy way. Money Metal Exchange, get you some reputable silver so you know what you're looking at. And they send you newsletters, man, and you will gain a plethora of knowledge from this organization, because JM Bullion is ridiculous. I mean, some of their premiums and stuff like that is ridiculous. And
Yep.
then it'll lead you down a rabbit hole to some other reputable, but MMX, Money Metal Exchange, is taking it by storm, and they got plenty in there. And you're looking for the Walking Liberty round, and you're looking for the Buffalo round, because these are not openly collectible outers. You're looking for the weight in silver. It does not matter the mint. And then silver bars, of course. They don't have to be the coins. They have it in coins and they have it in bars. But make sure you get you what they call junk silver, not the 40% mercury, the 90%.
90%. Yep. And again, 90% is anything 1964 and older.
Yes, and like I said, and I've never had any problem with them with that. Hey, and now they have on there where you can order fine copper, not industrial copper, and it's
Fine
literally
copper.
$20 for an ounce or more, over an ounce of copper, and copper is something good to invest in and well.
Yep.
Because it is going to be used in technology and it's going to skyrocket
Mm-hmm.
by the
Well,
ounce.
apparently there's a shortage in the microchips, or I was reading the other day.
Well, but that's not related to. They
That's
tried
not the
to
same?
say here about a month or so ago that there was a silver shortage,
Yeah,
and there's not.
there's not.
There's not.
Ah, okay.
No.
So you can't believe those narratives, but do those things and invest you a few $100s when you can, and get you some reputable information, authorized silver, and then go and look around. And if you can't find a better price, these people, the more you order, they send you extra silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll send you an extra ounce sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of promotion they're running
Yeah.
at the time.
Or
Yeah.
an extra silver coin.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
Well, yeah,
JM
it's usually a
JM
1 ounce
Bullion.
coin.
yeah.
JM Bullion will do that.
Yeah, but their prices are too high.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
But go to Meta Money Exchange, and I promise you, start with the silver and reading. They have a lot of information about the cryptocurrency fear. Just
Yeah.
do
Do they?
not. Yes, do not do anything with a certificate or a vault.
Nope.
You always want possession of your silver.
Well, not only that, but when you buy it on paper, it's like say you go out and you buy an ounce of silver, and you're trying to make money off that silver, so you're going to hold it, but you're going to give out certificates, and maybe you give out, say, 4 certificates that are worth 1 ounce of silver.
Yeah.
But you've only got 1 ounce of silver in your possession.
Yeah.
That's what the stock market, in reference to the precious metals, is
That's what
doing.
they did with gold too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Those.
And they're trying to push that so
Yeah.
they can buy up the physical.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and they're making money off of something that technically does not exist.
yeah, because they're holding the physical silver and they're drawing whatever interest or collateral based off their hedge against deflation.
Right.
The
Which
stock
silver
market-
Inflation.
silver is
Stock-
the best hedge against inflation.
You
period.
damn right. You damn right.
the stock market deals in futures,
Yeah.
and that's basically what
Yes.
they're telling you right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that is the way that they sell the precious metals in the market with certificates is different than that.
Well,
they're
in a roundabout-
creating money out of nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all it is to them, is creating money out of nothing. Let's put
And
this money in our
futures,
pocket.
though, your futures is almost buying into a loan of sort.
Right.
Yeah.
So, bottom line, you can ixnay all that. You'll learn a lot of that through getting into physical silver. Get physical silver and order from MMX or money market exchange, and you will do great in the future. I don't care if you spend a few $100s or what, but I promise you, when you get it, the empowerment of having it does a lot in itself. So
Yep.
you know, just do that. I promise you, it'd be one of the best things you can do.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it is cheap enough that anybody can buy it. You know, even if you buy 1 or 2 ounces worth per month.
Yeah.
Well, I
you know?
invested in gold. I've invested in gold. So I've always thought
Well,
that
I'm
that
in
was
both.
number one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hang on to your gold, definitely, but go to silver.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Your
You
gold
won't-
is going to be your long-term wealth, and your
Yeah.
silver is what you're going to live on.
Yes, it's going to be your store of value.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, they can confiscate your gold.
They can confiscate your silver too.
Yeah, but they're going after your gold first.
Yep.
What do you? They
They've done it in wars. If World War III takes apart and we need technology, they can go after your gold.
Oh
they
yeah,
confiscated gold in what?
That's
World
what
War II?
FDR done.
Huh?
yeah.
That's what
They
FDR
conf-
done with the gold and silver coins.
Yeah, they confiscated gold in somewhere around World War II.
Yeah. And then in
Yep.
Civil War, they got you silver.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, keep it safe. You need a safe and you need a plan. But your silver, I think, is going to be a very much safe than your gold because they're pushing gold too hard.
I think I might have to do a Christopher Wallace in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but just go to the silver, create a plan, spread it out, put it in, you know, some safe, have an air, you know, leave a little bit around in case there is some type of silver confiscation, but have a plan with it. I don't think that'll happen with the Convention of States. That's kind of what they're doing, is safeguarding a lot of things. And you got a long time before that will happen, but you need silver.
You never know how much time you're going to have.
Yeah, and I'm just going based off the economic shift because World War III is not going to start off kinetic. It's going to be a slow, progressive. Well, we're probably already in it, but it's going to be a slow progressiveness into kinetic to drafting or whatever the case may be, and you open yourself to a new market. And silver is the way to go until you get into more of the cryptocurrency base. But I mean, silver is about as safe as you can get for inflation because inflation is super coming.
Do you get into AI?
Do I get into AI?
Like the
Oh,
subject?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
could
yeah.
AI ever could it take over cryptocurrency and
Yep.
Yeah.
It could.
Well, that's kind of what protects it in a
Yeah.
sense. It protects it from the centralized bank, but that don't mean it won't go wrong.
Right.
But
There's always the potential for something to go wrong.
yes, in every single way. But AI is involved because it helps the energetic algorithm of cryptocurrency. And right now it's being used as protection because in blockchain. But at least the AI in blockchain, it's kind of imprisoned itself into the ledger.
Yeah.
But hey,
It
that don't
realized
mean,
scares the hell out of me.
yeah. But stick with silver, and I'm fixing to get off here, guys, and do me something to eat. And it's been a pleasure talking with y'all.
No,
Weaver,
thank you
can
for
you,
coming on tonight, Weaver.
Oh yeah, I'll be back soon.
Yeah, I'm
Can you
sorry
send
about
us an
all of
email?
the technical difficulties tonight, but I've enjoyed having you on here.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's real
Absolutely.
informational.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Like I said, I didn't got a little bit hungry. I'm gonna check on the wife and watch some TV, and then do some more research or whatever the case may be. And yeah, so I'll be getting on.
Yeah, we'll see you on Liberty tonight.
Yeah,
Are you going to go on Liberty?
yeah, I'm gonna go on Liberty.
Oh, beautiful.
It's-
Yep. And I'll be back on later, myself as well, when I'm at work tomorrow night. So
Yeah. But
tomorrow
anyway,
night I work till 3 a.m. West Coast time. So
but if you have any questions, it's Shane, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions, I have an email you can reach me at. It's Weaver. Go ahead and write it down.
Definitely. Weaver?
It's Weaver D as in Delta
Yep.
398 at gmail.com.
Perfect.
And like I said, if you got some questions, just shoot
got
me an
time.
email and I'll get to you.
I actually wrote down a couple of questions from the earlier episode. When you said when you're in a platoon and you lost 10 men,
Yeah,
original men, or you were down to 10 original men.
yeah. 7.
Well, was that injury?
No.
Oh, okay.
We lost.
All right.
We had 17 men in a platoon, and we had 10 deaths, including some of the new, and then we had multiple casualties through replacements. So I guess you'd be up in the 20s. I had 7 original that I came back with, and we lost all 3 recruits to casualties, and then I had 7 dear friends die.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
It happens.
Yeah. And what's a counter sniper?
That is a designated marksman in an infantry platoon.
Okay, so is there
And there is a sniper. They're called a scout sniper, but they're Overwatch, and it takes them a minute to get there. And I have to be the quick reactions force to whatever contact that we're taking. So it makes you the sharpshooter of the fire team. You carry an M14, which our shot, I think M14, if I'm mistaken, had 308 rounds. And
7.62.
yeah, 7.62, they're not the 51. It was a 339. So I carry the M14, and that's kind of, what I did. Like we took contact, and I would basically react to that contact. Because I was thinking the M1 Graham when I'm sitting there thinking about the 7.62 by 51. It was more of a 30-06 style round.
30-06 is in $1,000. The 308 is a 7.62. The AK round is a 7.62 by 39.
Yeah, and it's in the 308 7.62 by 51.
Yeah, and then the Russian caliber for that almost equal size is 7.62 by 54R.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's-
just couldn't. I
they got
couldn't
2
remember
or 3
what
rounds
style.
range.
I couldn't
Yeah.
remember what style M14 I had. I'd have to look at the M14 I had. I couldn't remember if it was a 7.62 by 51 box style or if it was a 7.62 by 39 box style.
Yeah.
So
They used to when they very first came out, they was fully automatic, but then they switched to a 3-round burst,
yeah,
and then the sniper ones are just single shot
yeah.
or single action.
And
sorry.
mine was an actual semi-automatic.
Yeah.
And like I said, but it was for quick reaction force, counter snipe 600 meters. And then, I had a spotter. If I didn't take him out and we were still pinned down, we got a scout sniper in that carried a 50 cal Barrett or a 338 Leopold, something like that.
Yeah, that one Canadian sniper, he got the longest range kill over there. It's over 2.5. I think it's 2 3/4.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was in awe.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow.
It's insane. It's insane. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna hop off here and
good seeing
like
you,
I said,
Weaver.
You too. And I
nice
love all
talking
you
to you.
guys, man. Take it easy.
Love you. Yeah.
Yep.
God bless.
Absolutely.
Yes. God
Hey,
bless.
God
Have a
bless.
great day.
Later.
I'm checking in, so I'll be back. Be back in a second, guys.
All right.
So, how are you, BB?
Oh man,
Baby.
I'm loving
Michael
this, man.
Dyer?
The information coming in was just
My mind is blown.
wow. Yeah, there's a lot of things I learned that I didn't know.
And it
Like
wasn't
what?
riddles. It was clear. It was articulate. Man,
I shouldn't say things I didn't know. Things that I knew that got clarified.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've looked into everything that he's talked about, but just to hear it clear and something that I can understand, and it wasn't riddles.
Right.
It was
Exactly.
just, it's what I needed to hear, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
God definitely brought him to us.
I think tonight's show on Liberty is going to be
If he goes through the cryptocurrency and his background, if he starts off with his background and everything else, and then goes through his cryptocurrency, just his knowledge, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just for starters.
I'm invested in crypto already, so I just need to get some silver.
I got
What's
friends
your
that's
feeling on
invested in that Bitcoin. I don't know.
I've got a little bit in Bitcoin, but I got more in Doge than I do Bitcoin.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, I have Dogecoin. That's going to be more of a common use.
I quit. I still got both Whiplash's accounts on Telegram, but I quit reading into them so much because they was pushing all those cryptos and everything else, and it was making me mad. I'm like, I'm not into that. I am not.
Yeah, I went
I
out and bought some silver and gold myself here a few months back,
Mhm.
and you just get it and put it away.
Yep.
Don't think about it. Preferably hide it somewhere, and just wait for everything to happen.
Don't put it in a bank deposit. Don't put it in
It's illegal.
Safety deposit box.
That's illegal.
What?
You're
It's
not-
legal.
It's illegal. Yeah, you're not supposed to put currency in safe deposit boxes.
Because banks are not insured for that.
Yep.
You always see in the movie
that,
they put diamonds in the bank.
that going back to the Basel III for you, Shane.
Yeah.
One of the main requirements of Basel III is that the banks will have to hold enough physical precious metals, and that's mainly referring to gold, to cover any money that they have in the bank. So, if you wanted to go into the bank right now and buy $100 worth of, say, silver, you couldn't do that. They won't sell it to you because they don't have it. Once Basel III is implemented, they would physically have to have it in the vault to be able to be in line with the regulations.
Is Basel III, is that an international thing or is it just an American thing?
No,
I've
it's
never-
international, and it went into effect in the end of June. I think it was June 28th or July 28th, one of those two. It went into effect for Europe, and it goes into effect in the United States in January.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not seeing the United States announcing right now that they're back on the gold standard like all these other countries, because they're waiting for the Basel III to go into effect.
So America is officially in the gold standard.
They are, but they haven't announced it.
Because for a while they I don't think the gold, what was the gold standard? What am I thinking of?
Nixon took us off the gold standard.
Onto oil?
We went onto the fiat system under
Fiat, and what's that?
The fiat dollar is through the Fed, through the International Monetary Fund and the Fed. They're the ones that created the fiat dollar.
So it won't be US dollars, it will be US gold.
It will be, well, there's going to be a new paper and coin currency when all of the stuff switches over, because the American dollar is dead. The corporation, dead. It no longer exists. It's been defunct, and Trump did away with the corporation known as the United States of America. So really, they're kind of in a limbo right now, because we have a country who is not technically a republic, but it's also not technically the United States corporation anymore. So we're in limbo.
I never got into the constitutional, sovereign citizens. I don't know much about it. But Australia was apparently, I think we were registered in Washington, Columbia, Washington, or whatever it was, as a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what that means for Australia.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I know that the Corporation of the United States was filed in England. And what happened was the original republic went bankrupt.
See, why can't the media, sorry to say that trigger word, but why can't they just tell us what? I just hate that we're just being played.
Well, it's a narrative. You got to remember, if you need to go and read about or watch some videos about Agenda 21.
Yeah, I know all about that.
We're in the middle of Agenda 21 right now, and Trump getting into office set them back by 10 years.
But do you really think that, because do you really reckon Trump was there to disrupt, or do you think he was there? Well, because I'm only asking this question because I care, and I'm concerned. And I do love Trump. I reckon he was excellent. I think he was great for the world.
Yep.
But was he there to play a role, or was he there to disrupt? Or was it a plan?
I guess that depends on which narrative you believe, because
Yeah.
there's several narratives floating around. I mean, he could
Don't
be
know
a
right now.
shill who's playing a role. He could actually legitimately care for this country and its people, and he's trying to do something that's right for us. Or he could be doing it all for himself. Who knows? You know, that's the
Well, I
big
think
question
we've
right
been-
now, because everybody's in limbo with what's happening in the United States. We're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
in a confusion, you know.
You have
None of us
question-
understand it.
You're asking the same questions we are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We don't know.
But what I do
At the end of the
know
day-
is the United States has two constitutions.
Yes.
Two of them.
Yes.
Two. We have the original Constitution that was written when this country started, and then we have the second Constitution that
1871.
was, 1871, when they turned us into a corporation under the Crown of England. And the reason that
Ulysses-
happened was because we went bankrupt, and the government leaders went to the Rothschilds asking for a bailout, basically. And when
Because we was trying to rebuild the South after the Civil War.
Civil War, right? And
The
when that
railroads
happened, when we went to them for the money to bail us out, they said the only way that we'll do this is if you form a corporation filed in England under the Crown of England, and blah blah blah. So we have been since 1871. We have been subjects of the Crown, and all they did was change one word in our original Constitution once the corporation was established.
Exactly.
And it's in the title, and instead of it being of the people, it's for the people.
Because have you heard the Belt Road Project?
Yeah, the Belt and Road Initiative, Silk Road,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
See, apparently we signed that, and it gave permission for them to invest in our state.
Yeah.
But I'm just so confused at the moment. Do you guys?
My understanding is that the big red country practically owns Australia.
Well, virtually. They've got cattle stations, ports. They've got an airport in the middle of Australia.
Yeah.
They own lots of Australia.
Yep. And they're trying to do that everywhere else.
Yeah. They're
Now-
doing it here. They're buying up land here like crazy.
Yep. Farmland. Yep.
They shouldn't be
But-
allowed to buy in other countries' land. There should be a rule against it.
I was under the understanding that there was a law against it here in the United States, that no foreign country could own physical land in the United States. They could buy property, but they
Yeah.
could not own the land.
I think how they get around it is because they buy it under corporations, like private companies. Well, so-called private, which
Hmm.
are really state.
Right.
I don't know. I think maybe that's the way they get around it.
When you consider that every citizen or business of that country, all of their assets are technically owned by the government of that country under the communist portion.
Yeah.
Just like companies like, that 5G company, WA, I won't say the whole thing.
Sorry.
but you know, they're completely owned by the government. And actually, it's not even really the government; it's more the military of that country. Same thing with that. That's what the big fight over TikTok was about.
Mhm.
Was that TikTok was owned by a company who technically is owned and controlled by that country's military. So those are the things that Trump was trying to get rid of.
I don't know. Does society have to fail before we can rebuild, or?
Well, I think if you and maybe we should have asked that from Weaver, but if you read the Bible, then we're told that we're going to go through this type of thing, and it doesn't look very promising for us based on what's in the Bible. We are going to go through this time of tribulation. You know, we have to suffer that so that we can get to the good stuff. Is this the beginning of the tribulation? Is it the middle of the tribulation? Is it coming to its end to where, you know, we can start moving forward and in a time of peace? I don't know. You know, the Bible is a mystery when it comes to that, but it sure as heck seems like we're right in the middle of the tribulation right now. You know, I don't have any better answer than that.
All you can do really is pray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just as confused as you are, Shane.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
are. We
It's
all
an
are.
intriguing subject.
You know, going to your comment in the chat, that you didn't know that they had Vietnamese dong.
I didn't know they had a dong.
There's the Zim, the Dong, the dinar.
Right. From what I know about the currency of the dong,
Yeah.
if you hold a current Vietnamese note for
Yeah.
100 trillion dong, okay, one note which you can purchase for about $650, 100 trillion dong. When the currency revaluation happens,
Yeah.
you'd be a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Just for holding one note of 100 trillion.
Same thing
See,
with
that's what-
with the dinar.
That's what drives me. Sorry to butt in for a moment, but that's what drives me crazy about my country. Is we don't have a national airline, right? And we're considered leaders of the world, or one of the leaders. You know, one of the leading countries. Well, we're a developed country, but yet places like Vietnam, you know, other places have got their own airline. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we've just raped and pillaged this country. I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about Australia. We've raped and pillaged this country. We've sold off all our major assets. We've leased them out. We've given them 100-year leases. Yeah.
Where they're getting all your mineral rights and everything.
Oh, yeah. They're buying all our steel, and when they don't want to buy our steel, they'll just not buy it, and you know they'll stuff up a lot of families with that. They own farmland. They own cattle stations. They take that cattle and they take it overseas. They don't give it to the people that need it. And we've got real good cattle here. Yeah. I just wanted to butt in and say that.
Oh, no.
Don't let America end up like Australia.
Go ahead, Monty.
Well, Australia started off as a penile colony, anyways,
Mhm.
and
I
they
think
were
it's still is
shipping.
a bit of a penile country.
Well, the Queen, the British Crown was sending all their people from out of the prisons, Tower London,
Yeah.
but whatever, et cetera, down to Australia, and whatever countries they had it under control, like from India, from there's too many to name right now. I'm too tired to shoot out the names.
Australia was
North countries,
basically
yeah.
used as a prison state.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what penile colony is.
Right.
It's not Mr.
I was
Fowler.
only joking,
And
Monty.
it's not penile, it's penal.
Penile.
I'm sorry. Jesus. The little blue colony.
Take the eye out of there.
The little blue pill. No. There's an I in there.
Mm-mm. It's penal, penal, just like the penal code.
That's
The
not how
penal-
I've seen it written.
Yeah, penal, penal code.
Go to your
There it
local
is.
police officer and ask him for the penile code.
Right.
Senile. There's the
I'm pretty
the
sure he'd
pineal
like to
gland.
show you.
There's the pineal gland too.
Well, that's the pineal gland it's in the back of your head.
No, it's in the center.
Well,
It's in
yeah,
the center,
they go through the back.
directly in the center. It's like the, yeah. Anyways, I'm tired.
Is that your third eye?
Yes.
Yes, that's your third eye.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the fourth eye. The third eye's down below.
I call that my brain.
Exactly.
Half the time.
That's what happens. Men start thinking with
90%
that,
of
and
the
then we get in
time.
trouble.
Yeah, exactly, Monty. That's the problem.
Here it is, 7:00, Mr. California Patriot.
Hey. I still got another hour and 10 minutes on duty, and then I go home and go to bed.
I did. Hey, earlier when I was trying to get it back up on here, after you got back up on here, I had just gotten into the back room, and guess who calls me? After he said he was going to call me.
Who?
So I was trying to talk to him and I heard you guys in the background, and I couldn't hardly hear him, Travis.
Oh,
So
Travis.
I talked to him for about an hour, and he goes, "What was going on earlier?" I was like, "I was just trying to set some things straight with up on the panel with because I seen someone accidentally erase a message that someone said shit hitting the fan." So I
Shit hitting
texted
the
him,
fan.
and then I went right up on the panel and called him out on it. Well, it was done by accident, and I was like, I was just wondering if the rules have changed or not. I was like, every channel host, owner, whatever host, they have different rules, and as the mods, they gotta go by how that host sets them.
Right.
So that's what I was just wanting to make sure and clear of, and then we talked about other things and got some things understood and straightened out, I guess.
Oh, was that
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went over to Dangerous Freedom earlier. I like that show over there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
seen
good
remote. I seen remote up on that channel all the way till 5:30 one morning. I was
Dangerous
like,
Freedom?
"Holy cow, brother!" Yeah.
Really?
You'll find Zach over there too. Zachary.
Oh, Zach's
Mouse
awesome.
Bella's
from
over
101.
there. Yeah.
What's it called?
Dangerous,
Dangerous
Freedom
Freedom.
After Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes in late at night.
Yep.
I seen him one time come up on channel at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or he's
was like,
probably
holy
live
cow,
right
dude.
now.
No, he just went off before we
yeah.
before you went live again. He just
Oh.
went off. Yeah, he was tired.
I can understand that. He does that
They
every
got
night.
some pretty good topics on there. They talk about
What's
yeah.
your
good
channel,
topics.
baby?
Hmm?
Huh?
What's BB's channel?
I don't have one. No.
Yeah, BB doesn't have one.
I've
Monty
seen you
doesn't
on.
have one.
Oh, I thought you had a channel. I've seen you on Patriot Liberty. I thought Liberty Warrior.
Liberty Warrior.
That's where we met up with BB.
That's where I started watching, and then I started watching CBC.
Yep.
And then
I forgot where I met Charlie.
On Liberty. Oh, actually, California
Travis?
Patriot or
Yes.
Canadian Patriot.
and
Yes,
then
no,
Yeah,
No.
it was a Canadian Patriot.
hadn't
The
been-
first night I went live.
and then
I hadn't been on
Travis
her
started
show first,
his
so it was
channel, and I
Gigi.
started watching Travis's because he was on late at night,
Yeah.
and it kind of went off from there. And then I found Dangerous Freedom because of Bella. Bella posted his link in the chat one night, and I thought, I'm gonna check that out. Went in there and said hi, and they were real friendly. And
Oh yeah.
That's what I like about the channels. They're really good, friendly people.
Grizga's over there. Garrett Hines. I know him from
was it
another
Johnny
Angel?
Johnny Angel.
Yeah,
Johnny
he
Angel,
was
yeah.
over there.
Zach. Carolina girl.
Yep, I seen her there tonight.
I'm glad to have worked things out with you, California.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know,
Yeah, definitely. That's the way I am.
I'm not looking to have a beef or animosity
No.
with anybody,
That's the last thing I want is an internet beef.
right?
No, because right now we all need to just be there for each other and okay.
Well, we're all gonna go through hard times, and we're all gonna
Yeah.
vent ourselves in certain ways, and we just got to pick each other up.
Yeah,
That's all,
Charlie
you know?
already. Charlie
we just
already kind of
address
knows.
the matter, and then we talk about it, and then we resolve it, and then we move on, and that's
We'll
it.
move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
I
that's
get
what I-
depression when I be fake to myself. It really, really disturbs me. That's why I had to address, in your message, Charlie. I had to address it and say this is how I felt, because I also did it to Liberty Warrior as well. I said, hey, I said this in CBC's chat, so just in case you hear it from a secondhand source, I don't want you to hear it. Here I am right here saying what I said, because I thought I did think it was only because I'm not going to get into it anyway, but
Right.
I thought it was important to address it.
No, and I think you're right, and I appreciate your comment. I appreciate any criticism, of any kind, because it helps me to become a better person.
Well, yeah, that's what I expect from you guys too. If you've ever got a problem or you think I can do better in any way, just pick me up on it, and I'll gladly try and fix myself.
Oh, I haven't seen anything from you that would need to be changed. You're a pretty well reserved person. You put a lot of thought into the statements that you make. You've got a good mind, and I'll tell you what, brother. I know it came at a drastic cost to you, but your personal life situation that you were discussing earlier is helpful for the rest of us in understanding you.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I thought I'd tell you, because I've met you quite a few times now, and I'm starting to build relationships with you guys, and I thought I'll just put it on the table, and I'm not asking for sympathy or anything, but at least it opens me up to you guys a little bit, and it just lets you know where I'm coming from a little bit.
Well, your family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Your
likewise, baby.
Did I miss something?
About what?
Nothing. It's okay.
No. Oh, okay. He had put a comment on one of my videos the day after, I guess,
Of the blow up.
from the blow up on Travis's channel, and I read the comment, and now tonight we're having a discussion about it.
Okay, I got you.
Just so that the air is cleared, and
Yeah.
I understand Shane, and and Shane understands me, and you know,
The
it
reason
it's a good
reason I was
thing.
asking is someone here in chat said said something to Shane and said sorry about your loss.
Oh,
yeah, my partner
regarding
died.
Shane's wife.
Yeah,
Oh,
she passed
sorry.
away 18 months ago. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I think you mentioned that over at Travis one night.
Yeah, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but yeah, we're
Sorry to
slowly
hear
getting better. No, that's okay. That's why you've got to, if you get any pains in your back or you get any pains in your arms or whatever, you got to, I mean, I don't really trust that system anymore, but you've got to kind of get it checked out and get a blood test done or something. Yeah,
What was it?
blood poisoning.
Oh,
So
septis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I had a buddy
And
that. He was riding a little like a motorbike. Charlie, BB, you probably know what I'm talking about. The little, not quite like a dirt bike, but the little ones. He was riding one of those. He wrecked it and he cracked some ribs, and he thought he was fine. And this dude's an EMT, so he put it off. Just thought it was some bruised ribs, cracked ribs, you know. He goes, and two weeks later, he's still in major pain. So he goes to the hospital. They X-ray. They didn't see no fractured ribs or anything. So a week later, within 1 week later, he was in such pain he couldn't move. He was black and blue, and come to find out he passed away. And come to find out he was septic. He was septic from his blood.
Yeah,
His kidneys and ribs.
Wow.
see, we just thought that it was the flu, and that's what she let. Like, from what she was going on and what she was telling me, it seemed like she just had the flu. But yeah, it was a lot more than what it was.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. What can you do? You can't do much. Just pray.
Yeah.
But my son, he's doing well, I suppose. I try and be really open and honest with him. So I talk about him. I talk about it quite a lot.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
I don't want nothing building up inside, and then he starts resenting me, or
Right.
starts blaming me for. You know how kids get when they turn 15 and 16, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Dad, you didn't do this for me. Dad, you didn't do that for me." I don't want him to be like that. No, I don't know. What can you do? We can
One
only
thing-
try.
Yeah. I know other people probably you've heard other people say is like make memories and then tomorrow's never promised, and that's true.
It is.
My dad went through 6 or 7 heart attacks, man, and 3 strokes, and on the last stroke, that's what done him in. And
Wow.
there's it's just I can't go into that right now.
See, but that's what pees me off. Is like, are they just trying to? Are they making money out of sickness? I hope I can say that, Charlie.
Yeah, they are.
Are there no money in cures?
That started with John Rockefeller because he started the medical institutions.
Pharmaceuticals.
Wait.
Yeah.
And the pharmaceuticals.
They don't want to cure you. They want to keep you on their medicine.
Yeah.
They want to
because
it's money.
Why have a person go out the door that's
like
cured when they can turn right back around and come back again and again and again, and they make more money? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'd rather have a revolving door of people coming in and out instead of fixing them and send them out the door and not seeing them again.
Well, look at the hospitals every day. How many people go there and they come out with medications?
Or they
It's
go into
unreal.
a hospital and get staph infection.
What are they? You go into the doctors and they say you've got bad cholesterol, so they give you a tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was actually diagnosed with high cholesterol. I
Why can't they
actually,
tell you how to change the
I-
actual problem itself?
that's what I did. I went in and researched. I'm on no medications right now, and I feel better than I did 10 years ago, health wise, when I was on some medications.
Yeah.
Because I found out natural remedies on how to cure that.
So how did you manage to do that?
It's the diets and exercise.
Yeah.
It's just you just got to watch your diet, and it doesn't mean I have to. I ate a lot of red meat before. Now I don't. I eat red meat, but I don't eat as much as I did before. I limit it. I do fish one day and maybe red meat one day, and then I'll do maybe like a chicken another day. I used to have red meat every day.
Yeah.
So I had to limit myself on how, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it will. Your body has to, you got to. And I lost some weight because of that.
Did you?
Yeah, I lost about 60 pounds just by switching that diet up,
Just by the diet.
just by the diet and exercise.
Oh wow.
You see, Japanese people, they eat a lot of fish and things that come out of the ocean. A big majority of their diet is. They also have 7 to 8 to 9 grams of salt intake because of that. That they also smoke 4 packs. A majority of them smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day, and they can outlive them, especially outlive American people. Now,
It must be
thing of
all
it
that
is-
Tai Chi.
the thing of it is, if you keep the body above a 7.4 alkaline,
Right.
which is more salt intake, you don't it eliminates the body's chance of creating and causing cancer.
Yeah. Well, if you look
It's all
look
the
at America,
pharmaceuticals and vacations that are causing all these cancers.
well, look
Well,
at you drive down the strip in America now. What do you see? All fast food places.
Mhm.
McDonald's, Hardee's, Burger King. You got all these burger joints opening up. It's just there. That's where a lot of people are having problems. The way
Because
they
it's
eat.
fast and convenient.
Right. People don't want to cook no more. They don't want to cook healthy food.
Well,
Yeah.
in cooking a good homemade meal, like homemade chicken and noodles, it takes all day just to do the noodles. The proper way. And it's
If you're doing
and
it from
people-
scratch.
Yeah, if you're doing anything like that
Yeah.
from scratch, any kind of meal, like a lot of Italian meals, I've watched a lot of Italian grandmas. They're hard at it, but they know what they're doing. But it takes a long time to prepare it.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's more of a balanced diet you have now, BB.
What's that?
Is it more of a balanced diet that you're eating now?
Yeah, I do more of a balanced diet. What I eat now, how I eat now, I try to have one good big meal a day, but I don't eat, some people have the 3 or 4 meals a day. I have one big meal a day, but I have little bitty healthy snacks throughout the day.
And what
Same
about
here.
vegetables
Yes.
and salads?
And then have one big meal. And them little snacks just keeps my hunger at bay to when I eat my big meal, I can eat my big meal, and then that's it for the day. So
See, I have a thing with fruits or raw vegetables, and I don't do salads. Never have.
That's
I
why
love
you're so
salads.
huge. That's why
I
you
just don't eat
giant.
them often.
once a month, I order sushi.
That's why you're 7'6", Monty.
Yes, once a month I do sushi.
You eat the cow by the hole.
Dude, okay, you've seen my profile pic. That was 2 years ago. That's what I look
What,
like
you've
now.
grown? Don't tell me you've grown.
No, I gained a lot of weight.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez, you have.
It happens.
You're looking healthy though.
You just now getting that in Australia?
The picture?
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of time
Good.
delay.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm lagging a little bit, to be honest, but I think the chats. I'm up to time with the chat.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah. It might be
Hold on.
StreamYard.
yeah, it could be
It could be,
StreamYard.
but you got to
Yeah.
think he's 17 hours ahead. He's 17 hours tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but
He
going
crossed the international date line.
I'll
going
tell you
that
the chat
distance,
slotto
though.
numbers. All right.
Man, Telegram has Jeff B is
Yeah.
he was blowing up.
What did Jeff B say today?
Oh, he said all kinds of stuff. He's getting cryptic.
Very cryptic.
Well, he's in a really bad place mentally right now.
I know he is. I know. I know. Trust me. I mean, I can tell. Yeah. A lot
Yeah,
of
I
them
was-
throughout the. A lot of vets right now are in a bad place. Man, I mean,
Yeah.
they just laid to rest that the reason I was going off about the Veterans Crisis Hotline and stuff the other day, and I was wanting all of our channels to run it at the ticker, is because I knew this 25-year-old. He was an Air Force veteran. I knew him since he was in diapers crawling, and he lost his battle to depression. Okay,
Oh,
and they
man.
just laid him to rest yesterday.
Oh, sorry to hear that,
And-
brother.
And that's why that's why I've been messed up, not really been in chats. And then to top it off, it didn't help that night that everybody was fighting in Travis's. And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
I think it was that
I've
full
been-
moon the night before.
Well,
Yeah.
it messed me up. And I sit there
It
and just
messed me
crying
up.
because if I'm feeling that, hard telling what the veterans are feeling.
Yeah.
I can just only imagine. But
How betrayed would you feel?
because they've been losing their buddies,
Yeah.
you know, is what I'm saying.
Yep,
We're
that's
definitely
true.
in a precipice of a time.
Yeah, that too. The feeling the tension and the pressure, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Well, there's
It's just-
kids. There's kids actually doing it. Have you guys had problems with that around your areas?
I had a
Kids.
problem with my daughter a few years ago where she was kind of doing that with kind of cutting herself, but not like major, but just doing it here and there. And me and her mom was both in the drugs, but no matter what, whenever I had her in spending time with her, I always spent time with her. I didn't pawn her off. I didn't like her mom did. Her mom would let me see her when her mom would see fit. You know, when it's convenient for her mom, I should
You
say.
can't
Yeah, I
do
know
that.
what you mean.
No, you can't do that. And my daughter knows I love her. I mean, she changed my whole world the first time I ever held her in my arms. I mean,
Oh, what a feeling it is, isn't it, Monty?
it was a
Yeah.
complete natural high. It was like that for 2 whole days, 3 days really. It was so
Yeah.
awesome. See, they didn't even call me to the hospital to let me know that that her mom was in labor. They called me like 3.5 hours later, and so
Oh,
I
wow.
never even got to experience that. There's a little.
You got to stay positive though, Monty, because
I know it's just a
You're a
lot of
good
things. I even had to do the custody fight battle and everything else with her mom and this and that, and that was when she was only like 6 months old. So
Be thankful she was that young and she'll never remember it.
yeah, That can be
She remembers some of it, but I mean, up until a month or two ago, I hadn't seen her for 2 years because of
man.
this last debacle going on. That
Right.
here in another week or two, I'm gonna have to do a plea deal on that and I take a felony, I won't be able to vote. I won't have no guns. Well,
that's not necessarily true.
I know, but man,
Maybe for a short time, but you can always
it's
go
hard
back.
to get.
You
It's
can
hard to
always
get
go
it
back and
expunged in
have it.
Missouri.
It can be done.
I can't even afford a real attorney right now. That's why I got a public defender, and it's sucks.
Public pretender.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Still, I mean,
Yeah. They don't defend you. They pretend
just-
to defend you.
I know. I'm just ready to close that chapter, get it done and over with, whatever the outcome, and just put it behind me. You know.
Yep.
I know I've messed up in the past on my drug charge before that, and that's why I'm on diversion in a county south of me. I take full responsibility for that. I messed up, but I feel God pulled me out of the gates of hell to help others. So
He has, Monty. He definitely has done that, and you are helping a lot of people by even telling your story.
Yep.
that's why I try and get on Jeff Riddle's, especially Friday. I try and get on there and just if I can get word to anyone that's struggling or in addiction and everything, anything like that, if I can help them, guide them to the right steps, then I've done something right.
Well, we should do a half an hour live together and have a quick conversation about just uplifting moments or something. I'd love to do that with you. You're a good talker.
Yep. And this is an open
Anything
format,
you ever do to
so
help you, Monty, just let us know. I mean, I can't do much because I'm on the other side of the world, but anything I can do,
Right.
yeah.
I know.
yep.
But
Even I'm limited, and I'm just on the other side of the country.
and see, that's why I
Telling-
got so much in my head firing off at different sporadic times. Because of my thought process for one, but if I keep my brain on something on those other topics and rabbit holes or whatever, then it keeps me from being all
keeps you
depressed and
occupied.
everything else. Yeah.
But sometimes that can get overwhelming too.
Yep.
Well, not really, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I haven't hardly
you-
done no fishing this season.
You
Well,
can't
there's-
hold it all in forever, Monty.
Correct.
Oh, dude,
You'll
if you only
explode.
knew. If you only knew. Like, okay, well, it's just us four up here, and I don't know who's
Yeah.
in chat. Okay,
But just
so
remember, we are on a live.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are
well,
live.
from the
Yeah.
age of 3 to 8, I had some bad things happen to me by my cousin. Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
and the only ones that really believed me was my uncle, my dad, my mom, and my older brother. My younger brother, when I started seeing our cousin doing the same similar things to my little brother, that's when I decided to speak up because I didn't want him going through that. And then next thing I know, my grandma, my dad's mom, was calling me a liar and a shit starter and this and that, and saying I was just making stuff up. And
Isn't that the typical story that goes on when it's a child
Right.
making
right,
claims?
and so any of my friends, a lot of my friends have been women, chicks, and because I can relate to them whenever they've had the same thing similar to them happen, or raped, or it's just
Yep.
it's hard to explain on that aspect right there, but
It's not.
this-
You don't need to explain. We understand.
this
Yeah,
the
we
same
understand.
guy ended up getting his stepdaughter pregnant when she was 11.
Oh
What?
wow.
So, and yeah, he worked for EMS, firefighter, all that, dispatch. And so when I heard of that, I called the next county to the west of me. I was like, called the DA, the DA's office or whatever, and I talked to the secretary. I was like, it's too late to do anything for me and my brother, but if I need to testify against him, I will. And I was like, because I see you guys are trying to offer him a plea deal. I was like, he doesn't deserve a plea deal. He's a monster. And so, long story short, he got 13 years.
Good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's diabetic. They've been cutting off his toes from before he went in there. Last I knew, he was up to his knee on one leg. So,
Karma's a
But-
mother.
yep,
You know what?
But that's what these people don't realize. These people do not realize that they're doing this to a child, and they're gonna hurt this child, and this kid is not gonna get over it,
no,
and it could create a cycle of bad
yes,
behaviors.
I've seen that too. I've seen
Yeah.
that too.
Of course.
Yep.
Man,
So-
I understand totally what you're going through. Trust me.
I mean, it's only been the last 10 or so years, a little bit over 10 years, that I was able to actually start being able to talk about it in the open and amongst just regular friends and stuff. And because I had it
It's
built
nothing
up
to be
inside
ashamed
me.
of. It's
Well, I
nothing to
had
be
to-
ashamed of.
I know, but back in the day, you never
Of course. Well, you do.
never talked about it. You never
Yeah,
talked
I know.
about it.
It was a
So-
touchy subject.
Yeah. And so
Well,
that's
it
why
wasn't
if
a
I,
touchy subject. It was just hidden.
yeah, that's
it wasn't
why.
talked
Why-
about.
That's
People
why I
don't
got in this
believe
fight. That's why I got in this fight, because of what I heard about the children and this and that. It don't matter whose kid I see, whose kid it is. If they're my mortal enemy, and if it's their kids, and I see some pervert trying to touch them or anything sickening, it's gonna end up being a good jail sentence. Let me tell you, because it'll be worth it.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was going to do that actually. I was going to make a Grinder account. Have you ever seen them videos on YouTube, Dads Against Predators or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to try and bust one of them, but it never eventuated. But yeah, I wanted to document it.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
That could be very dangerous.
Yeah, that's severe catfishing.
Yeah,
Yep. You never know who you're gonna come across in something like that, and
Right.
you know, I've had to deal as a private investigator with a lot of cases involving children. I even had to recover one small, young girl, about 8 years old, from Mexico. And that was a difficult case. Not only was the girl young, but she also had developmental disabilities.
Yeah.
And she was being kept down in Tijuana after her mother died. And my team went down there, and we were successful in bringing her back to the United States to where she could be with family.
So you had to lodge paperwork to get the girl back into the US.
No, actually, we didn't. We were able to just drive her across the border. It was her mother and her mother's boyfriend and her living down in Tijuana. The mother and the boyfriend were both U.S. citizens, but for financial reasons, they lived down south of the border.
Yeah.
The mother had a lot of health problems, and she would go across into San Diego to go to the hospital. Well, the last time that she went to the hospital was for something very simple. She never came out of the hospital. She ended up dying there.
Oh no.
And so the little girl and the mother's boyfriend were basically stuck in Tijuana until we got down there. And then with him as her current legal guardian, so to speak, and he had her birth certificate, we were able to have both of them come back across the border with us without any issues.
So you brought the boyfriend back as well?
We brought him back as well, yeah. Yep. And law
You're a nice
enforcement
man,
dealt with
Charlie.
that. Well, we were being paid to do it, but I'll tell you what, that is the one case that I worked on that it hit me right in the heart just because of that little girl.
I would feel the same way. I reckon. I look at kids, or in a bad situation, I just think, man, this is so sad.
Yep. It is definitely sad. But I'm going to shut it down in about another 5 minutes or so, guys. I still got to do up my paperwork before my relief gets here.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had a
Really-
phone call. I had to take a phone call real quick. That's why I jumped off real quick.
I'm going to
no
go ahead and get
problem,
off
baby.
here.
It's been a really good conversation.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it
whole
was-
night's been great, other than the
Yes.
technical difficulties.
Train wrecks.
Yeah, train wreck.
Everybody's got train wrecks this last night.
Yep. Yep. They happen when you're dealing with technology. Nothing's 100% foolproof.
Right.
So, but I do wish all of you a wonderful day today or evening, depending on where you're at. And, it's daytime for you, getting on close to nighttime now, isn't it, Shane?
Yeah, it's what is it, 10:30 at night?
Oh, wow. It's that late.
Yeah, bedtime.
It's almost
Oh.
8:30 here in the morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
in the
but
morning.
he's Shane is Sunday night.
Yeah, work tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep. That's
You
right.
guys
You're a
will
whole
get
day ahead of us.
in.
We can always look at it this way. Shane's week starts before ours.
Right?
All right, you guys sleep an extra hour for me.
Yeah. I'm hoping I get to sleep even, 5 or 6 hours today.
Yeah,
That's about
All right.
what I usually sleep, 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
5-6
I'll let
hours.
y'all
a night.
later.
All right, later,
All right,
Monty.
Monty, you
All
have
right,
a good
later,
night,
guys.
brother, and
Yep.
you'll be in our prayers, brother.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks. Thank you.
Love you, man.
Later.
See you,
Later,
mate.
too, man.
Ah,
Jeez, he's a gentle giant. I like Monty.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Oh,
Yep.
definitely.
Yep, that's why he's one of the co-hosts here. you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, and he always makes his rounds on channels.
Yeah,
he's
I see him everywhere.
he's like Bella. You go to a certain chat and she's in there. It's like, dude, how do I? It's hard for me to. I can't get to everybody because I work 12 hours, and it's like, yeah, it's I can't get to everybody's channel, but I try to.
Usually, Travis's channel starts just as I finish work. So then I'll watch Travis's channel. And then now that I've found Californian Patriots channel and he's been doing a couple of lives, I'll come over here or I'll come over to Canadians. I like Diana's channel as well. I haven't been on that too much. But
Which one?
Yeah, she's a passionate woman. Dana Hardwick.
Oh, Deanna, yeah.
Oh, Deanna, yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
She's
she's very
very
passionate.
emotional.
yes.
Yeah, it might be
Love her to
Gee.
death, though.
I try to go to Gigi's channel too, and at least say hi and give her thumbs up if I'm in between or whatever. I just
what's
like I said,
is GG is it GG79?
yes,
7989.
Yeah, that's it.
yes.
Yeah, I'm on her
I'll try to
channel
look.
every night up on the panel usually.
I tried to look for it this. Yeah, hang on.
It's
I can't find it.
GIGI 7989, and it's got a Canadian flag for her picture.
Yeah, I cannot find it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it says it's given me. It's
Well,
given me
let's see.
one. It's given me one video, and it says no more results.
I'll see if I can get her.
Well,
link.
I know she did take down all of her past videos here recently.
Yeah, but it doesn't even show an icon.
Really?
Yeah.
'Cause I was just on her channel for a little bit tonight, right before she went off. And I usually go live right after her if I'm going live on the weekends.
Try this link there. I just sent the link for you. That should take you right to her channel.
Yeah. In the private.
No, it's in the regular chat.
Regular chat.
Oh,
I
thanks.
can't. Oh, I guess I could have put it in private too.
Oh, hell yeah. I wonder why it wasn't coming up.
Good question.
That's very strange.
Make sure you subscribe it though. That way you don't lose
Oh, yeah.
it.
Definitely subscribed it. That's better. All right. Well, it was good seeing you, boys.
Yeah, it was good seeing you,
Good
James.
to see you too. Thank you for the conversation. I'm glad that we were able to discuss all of that. And
I couldn't just not say nothing. I don't really operate that way.
I'm the same way, which is why I actually got on the channel the other night to say something, because I couldn't hold it in.
Well, really, it does take balls to do what you did as well.
Well, I wasn't. I wasn't doing it for that reason.
No, but it's passion, what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's what makes us human.
Yep, absolutely.
Just got to remember, we're one day closer to a better day.
Definitely.
Right. We're one day closer.
I'll drink to that. Amen.
I'll drink to that when I get home and I'm not on duty.
Yeah. I'll have my coffee at least.
Right.
Nah. All right, you boys have a good night, and I'll
you too,
catch
Shane.
up with you some other
We
time.
love you,
Thank
brother.
you. Thanks
We
for having
love
me
you.
on,
Okay.
California. See you, baby.
Bye-bye.
You guys have a great
Bye.
night. Get some rest.
Definitely.
Later,
Everybody
Charlie.
in the
Love you,
chat.
brother.
Love you too, baby man. You be careful out there on the road.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Or tonight.
All righty, man. Yeah, tonight. Tonight.
Night.
All right, good night. And everybody in the chat that's still out there, I hope you have a great morning or great evening, whatever it may be for you. And I'll be back on tonight after GG7989. And we'll do it all again. So for now, wish you all the best and enjoy your day. Have a good one.